the YouTube live, man. This isn't being live streamed on what they call that joint. What they call that? Yeah, this ain't being live streamed on Streamlabs or nothing. I'm just testing how the YouTube live on YouTube works. Trying to see how it works. I don't see a comment section. I don't see much. Let me see what's going on. I see it's got the microphone and all that, but let me see the comments section. What the hell? Oh, start a poll. Oh, you can. So, yeah, 2025. Oh man. You dominate. Oh man. Oh wow. Oh, look at that. Oh. That's how it works. Oh wow. Okay. It's not bad. I'm looking at YouTube. The live stream options. Let's see what else they got. Oh, they got poll, Q&A. Well, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's not great. But yeah, this is just a little test, man. We're heading into 2026, man. We're heading into 2026, and yeah, man, a lot is changing, bro. A lot is changing, and I think by 2026, we're heading to the full-time ghost hitting mainstream. We're hitting mainstream, man, and I couldn't post this on YouTube, but this is the word. This is the word you're gonna start hearing, man. The word for men now, full-time ghosting, the word now is N.A.D.A. You know what I'm saying? N.A.D.A. I know what you're thinking. Oh man, this is already an established word, right? N.A.D.A. No, N.A.D.A. is short for never available daily access. Let me repeat that. Never available daily access. You know what I'm saying? That's what men are gonna start living by. N.A.D.A. You know what I'm saying? You can't access the man of today. You know what I'm saying? You can't access the man of today in this era. And we're gonna keep seeing, like I've been saying, you're gonna keep seeing videos, asking men to back to the fold, come return to society, man. You're gonna keep seeing that return to society. Why aren't men dating anymore? Why aren't men participating in society? You know what I mean? You're gonna see that, But as men are moving further and further towards that void, that's what men will be defining their lives by. When people ask them, man, what's going on with you? The man will respond with, I'm void. I'm void of distractions. I'm void of, void of conflict, void of stress. That's what's gonna happen. That is what is already happening. And you see the practices, the people playing dumb. Oh, why aren't men participating in society anymore? Why aren't men playing their role? But what they don't get is polite disrespect no longer works. You know what I mean? You can't politely disrespect a man anymore. Give me a second. Yeah. You know what I mean? You can't disrespect a man anymore, man. You know? Men are no longer accepting disrespect, you know? You know what I'm saying? And then, that's what's going on. That's the era we're living in. Men are no longer accepting disrespect. Now, it's not even that. Men are not even allowing an opportunity for disrespect, man. You know what I'm saying? That changes everything. When there's not even an opportunity to be disrespected, you know? That changes the game. You know, think about it, man. You know, this is the new word, N.A.D.A. You know, never available daily access. You know, never. That's what's coming. That's what's happening, man. We are in, you know, this is the price of full-time ghosting. You know what I'm saying? I see all these videos, you know. I watch a lot of content. You know what I mean? I've been binge watching Manosphere content monthly. I'm gonna slow down. I'm gonna stop. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of, the problem with me watching it now is that you know, I'm so far ahead. It's like I'm watching things come to pass that I've predicted for over 5 years, over 10 years, you know, predictions coming to pass, you know. And, you know, there's a little aspect of, it's addictive. So there's a little addictiveness to watching people reach the point you've been predicting for over 10 years, 5 years, and so on. It's like every time I watch content now, it's, you know, Hold the Truth Hostage was right. Hold the Truth Hostage was right. This is happening. This, you know, it's confirming. You know what I mean? It's confirming my points, man. You know, and that becomes somewhat of a problem. That everything I'm watching is finally getting to a point I've been predicting. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we still see a lot of men. Like I said, been saying this for years. We have a lesser. I don't even call it lesser pillar anymore. You know, that requires too much understanding and too much manosphere talk. You know what I'm saying? What's really happening is we have lesser men. You know what I'm saying? There's lesser men out there giving lesser male advice. That's really what's going on. You know, that's what's going on out there, is that there's a lot of men that are part of the lesser male community. You know, they're all pushing you towards reassimilation, you know, system guidance, as I would say, you know, guiding you back to the system. But that requires too much explanation. So I'm gonna water it down even further. There are lesser men giving you lesser male advice. You know what I'm saying? Let me repeat that. Lesser men giving you lesser male advice. These men are not comfortable with following their absolute, living by their absolute authority, living a life where they are the sole. Oh, Weebly, what's good? Yo, Weebly, man, my dude, I was talking to somebody on the Discord, and it gave me, shout out to Kalala, it gave me a song idea. Check this song out, man. The song's inspired by Prince's Purple Rain, right? You know, the song is called Closet Field. You know, you gotta remember the song. Remember the song Purple Rain? The song would be Closet Field, Closet Field, Closet Field, Closet Field. When I walk in a field full of rainbow roses, it's Closet Field, Closet Field. Yo, closet field. Man, I'm outside singing this. And somebody walks by, they gotta look at me like I'm crazy. But yeah, bro, I gotta work out the lyrics, man. I gotta plan out how I'm gonna get the Prince instrumental for Purple Rain and fix the lyrics. But yo, it's gonna be a hit, man. It's gonna be a song for an entire generation. Closet field. When I step out my closet, I roam in a closet field. You know what I'm saying? Yo, you know what I'm saying? We all who roams in a closet field. We know we know Mr. Beast. When Mr. Beast steps outside, he's in a closet field. You know, a lot of men, man, we're in a new era, bro. We're in a new era where they're begging you. They're gonna be begging you to come outside, man. You know, because the lesser men, the men that have been giving you lesser advice, you're gonna be alone. You know what I'm saying? We've been online. We've heard this multiple times where they keep telling you, man, you're gonna be alone, aren't you? Aren't you afraid of being alone? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? How many men are afraid of being alone? You know, that's a big question. Aren't you afraid of being alone? Aren't you afraid of making your own decisions? You know what I'm saying? Aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid of being alone? You know, that's what's going on. That's gonna be the biggest question for men. When the very question of asking a man if he's afraid of being alone is actually confirming that they don't want you to actually have decisions on your life. Cause check this out, bro. Loneliness is normal for men. You know, I'm gonna give you an example why loneliness is actually very normal for a man. And what does it mean to not be alone, right? Here's an example. You see, when you as a man make your choice, if you make a choice to go somewhere as a man and another man isn't going with you, as another man has not agreed to this plan and isn't participating in what you're doing, that means you're alone. You get what I'm saying? That means you're alone. When a woman follows you and goes with you, that means you're still alone. Is that she is following your authority. Let's say you're a man and you say, you know what? I want to live in the woods. I want to live in the woods. Let's say you said you want to live in the woods and a woman goes with you to live in the woods. That means she followed your authority. You know what I'm saying? She followed your goals and what you want to do. She followed your decisions. That means you still were the lone decider of that goal. You know what I'm saying? The problem with the narrative of male loneliness is that the narrative goes against the fact that men will be alone. You know what I'm saying? The decisions you make as a man on your own is to be alone. You know what I'm saying? If you say, you know what, I'm gonna walk to the north. You know what I'm saying? And another man doesn't agree with you, another man doesn't plan to go with you or follow you, then you're alone. You know what I'm saying? Male loneliness isn't defined by a man being alone. The true definition of male loneliness is if other men do not participate in your decisions, you're alone. You know, if men are the leaders, check this out, if men are the leaders and men decide what happens in the family, what does that mean? That means the man's sole decision is the deciding factor of what happens. You know what I'm saying? And the only time a man isn't alone, is when another man's authority is goes along with it. You know, if you, for example, said, yo, hold the truth hostage, man. I'm going sailing, bro. I'm going sailing for the next 6 months. And I look at you and I say, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I'll go with you. I'll go sailing, bro. Let's go sailing. Now you're not alone, because if a man is the sole decider and authority in that family, in that relationship between the woman and the man is authority. If the man is authority, that means all his decisions are on his own. You know what I'm saying? That's what they don't want you to understand. That's why they're pushing this narrative that, oh, there's a male loneliness epidemic. That's a lie, you know? Because the truth is, what's going on between men and women is that a woman, what's going on is this, man. And a lot of men from the olden days knew this, is that, give me a second, man. It's a little hot. Gotta unzip this damn hoodie. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, the YouTube live isn't that bad. It isn't that bad. But the thing is this, man. Male loneliness, what's really happening with male loneliness is this, man. You gotta understand, is that women, their jobs are to convince a man that he should not go on his path without her. You know what I'm saying? That's really what a relationship is, that a woman is supposed to tell him to be within a man, you know what I'm saying? Oh, what's good, man? My chill, what's good, bro? You know, hey, man, this is the voice of a man with bass, man. You know, we now live in a society where men don't talk with bass in their voice anymore. Men, that's offensive. That's too masculine. You know what I'm saying? Why would you talk with bass in your voice? You know, I started noticing that a long time ago, where you had Chris Brown. Yeah. Started noticing that with Chris Brown. And I started noticing that in the 2010s, man. A lot of men now avoid talking with bass in their voice, bro. A lot of men now talk in a way where they don't want to offend the women. So they'll not even talk with bass in their voice. A lot of men talk like this now. Yeah, how can I help you? Yeah, Brenda, I'm good. How are you doing? Oh, everything's all right. I'm just hanging in. Oh, life is good. I'm fine. Oh, how was my day? You know what I'm saying? Men remove the bass from their voice now, because to have bass in their voice would be, what is that, sexist or misogynist? You know what I'm saying? I started noticing that in the 2010s. Started noticing that very early, very early. I started noticing guys talking without bass, singing without bass in their voice. Like, think about Chris Brown, the way Chris Brown sings. No bass in his voice at all. But when he talks, he has bass, Then I started noticing, you have Justin Bieber, the Bieber, and you started noticing that a lot of people are trying to sing. A lot of the male singers are singing with no bass in their voice at all. They all sing with, I love you and I care for you. You know I care. The de-evolution of a man, bro. Men now think if you speak with bass in your, oh my God, oh man, what a misogynist. He spoke with bass in his voice. You know what I'm saying? I started noticing that, bro. There's a lot of things you start noticing, because, a lot of people don't understand. The biggest thing we study, the biggest things we watch is our fellow people. We people watch. I mean, over 90%, I think over 60% of what you watch are people. And you start noticing, man. I noticed that in the 2010s, I would be talking to certain dudes, talking about life or whatever, and you could hear they're hiding the bass, How am I talking to a guy that's 6'10", taller than me, and he's talking like, yeah, man, life is good. It's all right. I try to be a good person when I can. It's all good. I'm such a good day and a good time. You know what I'm saying? No bass, man. No bass in their voice, bro. You know what I'm saying? Everybody talking like that. All your singers. Listen to all the singers now. Michael Jackson would sing, and what made Michael Jackson different is he didn't really sing with bass in his voice, You know what I'm saying? But that's what made him a little special and different. But now everybody tries to talk without bass because they don't want to offend. The men have been so feminized, they don't want to offend the women by talking like men. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to talk like their balls dropped or they got any bass in their voice. It's all, yeah, Brenda. Oh, Sally. Oh, wow. You're looking like you had a great day today. Oh, how can I be of help to you? Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, you look, yeah. Oh, the weekend, I had a great weekend. It was very promising, my weekend. I woke up, enjoyed myself, You know what I'm saying? No bass, bro. Bassless, That's how a lot of dudes are talking now. Bassless, man. So scared to just talk like the man, You know what I mean? And another thing I've noticed, man, where you shake another man's hand, bro, there's like no grip. Nobody's gripping, or every dude is shaking your hand like they want to be soft and gentle. And you're like, man, this is weird. Once in a while, somebody shakes my hand with grip, and I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, man, that's different. I'm surprised that still exists, And then you see the body language. I've seen it a lot in Gen Z. A lot of Gen Z guys, I've seen this, where you see their posture and positioning is very feminine. You know what I'm saying? I've seen that, where the way they lean, and it's bad out here, man. The way they lean and walk, like a lot of Gen Z guys walk I've seen it. I've seen a lot of Gen Z guys walk like a goddamn flamingo. You know what I'm saying? If you get a chance, look up a flamingo and how a flamingo walks. You're gonna be like, oh shit. I've seen that in Gen Z dudes, man. And I've seen that in millennial guys that are trying to be, they don't want to be misogynist, so they don't want to walk like men. So I've seen a lot of Gen Z dudes around where I've been at they move like flamingos. You know what I'm saying? Every step looks like they're trying to be gentle or they're ready to dance and tiptoe. I've seen that. And I've seen that from some millennials like myself that are trying to adapt. You've seen that. Some millennials that want to, oh man, I know I'm a millennial, but I don't want to, I gotta keep up with the Zoomers. I gotta keep up and be more like the modern society. So you'll see some millennials walk like flamingos as well, man. I'm telling you, look up, when you get the chance, look up the bird, look up a flamingo. You know what I'm saying? Look up a flamingo and how they walk and stand. And dude, it's like you'll be like, oh shit, man, I've seen that. I've seen some dudes and I've seen some guys walk like a flamingo. You know what I mean? But, to get back to things is this, man. It's 2025, and, to get back to the male loneliness thing is this. They don't want you to accept that fairy. Yeah, the fairy. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of Gen Z dudes I've seen, like if you play that song, remember that song? I think it was a Disney song. Ding dong ding dong ding 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 dong ding dong ding dong ding ding. I forget the name of that song, but if you play that song around, what's good, man? What's good, Fatal J? What's up, brother? You know what I'm saying? I've seen some men where if you play that song, that fairy song, that ding dong ding ding dong ding 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 dong ding dong ding dong, and you play while a modern man is walking, or like a fairy song or some shit, you're gonna be like, man, they're walking straight to the beat, man. There's a lot of soft guys out there, man, you know, because a lot of men up here have adapted to being feminized. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that song, oh, the Nutcracker song, yeah. Yo, if you play that Nutcracker song, dog, around some men walking around you, you're gonna be like, oh shit. They're walking right in place with the Nutcracker theme. Ding dong ding dong ding dong ding 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 dong ding ding dong ding dong ding dong. You know what I mean? What's funny about that is, you know, this the Nutcracker song, because most men now they crack their nuts to basically blend into society, man. It's a lot of dudes. There's a lot of soft-handed dudes out here, man. You shake their hand and you're like, oh, what's going on with this? What's wrong with this guy? You know what I'm saying? The only time when if I shake another man's hand, I don't put in a lot of grip or, you know, show I'm a man is the elderly. If it's an older man, out of respect, I'm not going to try to shake his hand with grip. I don't want to hurt the man. You know what I'm saying? That's happened to me where I bumped into an elderly man. It was, you know, we were talking about some life and business. I shook his hand and he said, hey man, you know, don't shake my hand like I'm a pussy, man. You know, he shook my hand with grip. I'm like, all right, no problem. You know what I'm saying? Out of respect. I don't want to hurt you, you know, but the average dude right now, bro, is sad. I've shook a hand of a Zoomer. I've shaken the hand of, most of the time it tends to be Zoomers, man. I'm not picking on the Zoomers. I'm just, you know, they've been feminized, man, highly feminized, you know. So you shake the hand of a Zoomer, hand feel like a feather. You know what I'm saying? It's like their hand is, I don't even want to say it's weird. You know what I mean? It's weird, man. Weirdos, man. Yeah, I thought, oh, Jay, I thought I was the only one who thought that. Nah, bro, you ain't, man. Trust me, man, it's weird out here, man. There's a lot of weird guys out here. They don't talk like I was telling guys, they don't talk with bass no more. You don't shake a man's hand and feel like, all right, man, that's a man. He gripped my hand, I gripped his hand. We're not trying to hurt each other. It's just a level of respect, you know. I'm a man, you a man. Like when I shake a woman's hand, it's happened to me where, you know, I've shaked a woman's hand and she told me, you know, put some grip on there. And I'm like, you know, but you know, that out of respect, but a lot of women now don't respect, since they've fallen into that trap, you know what I'm saying? Since they've fallen into that trap, a lot of women, they want to be all masculine and manly. I shook a woman's hand once. I remember I was working at a bar as a bouncer. I shook a woman's hand and she told me, put some grip on there. And I'm like, in the back of my head, I'm like, man, this is what men do to a woman. We're more gentle around you. We don't want to hurt you. That's out of respect. But you know, a lot of the women now who've been raised to think they gotta be like man, they gotta be manly, they gotta be like men. They want you to shake their hands with grip, man. When I shake a woman's hand, I don't put no grip. I'm not trying to hurt her. With another man, it's a sign of respect. You know what I'm saying? It's a sign that I respect your manhood, you respect my manhood, I respect you as a man, and you respect me as a man, you know? But with a woman, if you shake her hand, you're not gonna put grip. You're gonna be soft and gentle. You know what I'm saying? But these women today have been raised, they gotta be manly. They gotta compete with a man. They gotta try to be a man, you know? God forbid they're a woman, you know what I'm saying? So that's what happens, bro. Yeah, see what the homie said. I always told, Fatal J, I always told, have a strong grip in the handshake, look a man in the eye. Yeah, bro. Even now, man, I'm gonna be real with you with you shake a man's hand and look him in the eye. Nowadays, you know, even that, you can't really do that no more, man. It's weird, man. You know, that's another way of telling if another man's too modern. You know, like you'll shake his hand, he ain't even gonna look you in the eye. And a lot of times now with a lot of these closets out there, man, with all the closets out there, you can't even really shake another man's hand and look him in the eye now. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of closets out there. You know what I mean? There's a lot of portable closets in this world. You'll shake the dude's hand out of respect, and he gonna look at you weird. You know what I mean? So they've been trained. There's a lot of men trying to be feminine. So they try to approach their interactions like they're female. You know what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of guys, you shake their hands now, they won't look you in the eye, because they're always trying to synchronize and be feminine. They don't know what it means to be masculine or be a man anymore. You know what I mean? So a lot of times you're gonna see it, like I told guys, I started noticing this, I think in the late 2000s. Like I said, I started noticing men talking without bass in their voice. I started noticing that portable closet, guys talking and singing like, all you gotta do is look at Justin Bieber, You look at Justin Bieber and you look at music and you're like, man, it doesn't make sense that every man singing now is singing with no bass in their voice. It's like they're all trying to sing and sound like they're women. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So, that's what's going on. I had to buy me some pizza, but yeah, bro, that's what's going on. But what's happening right now, man, with a lot of men, and we're gonna see this in 2026. 2026, man, be ready. 2026 is about to be a whole new monster, man. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of men coming up right now, we're going to have somewhat of a male civil war, The male civil war is coming where, well, not a civil war, a great male divide, man. We're going to have a great male divide that's coming where a lot of men are so divided in how they interact with one another that you know what I'm saying, you're not gonna see a situation. You're gonna see a situation where a lot of men aren't talking to each other and divided, because when they said about that 2030, they said over 45% of women will be single and alone. You know what I'm saying, by 2030. But they are only counting women 25 to 40. They're not counting women below that age. But what's happened and what's gonna happen is by 2026, a lot of men are gonna be divided, because that number for some men is a goal. That goal, when they said, 45% of women will be alone, for some men, they heard that's too low, Some men, that's too low, man, There's gonna be a divide that's coming. I think the great divide's gonna be really from the Zoomers, Millennials, Gen X. It's gonna be a great divide, because if you look at the Zoomer, grew up in the 2000s, you know what I'm saying? So the Zoomer growing up in the 2000s and late 90s, they were really, the experiment was pushed on the Zoomers a lot. The feminization was pushed heavy on the Zoomers. And you could tell when you look at the Zoomer male that they stand differently. Us us millennials, we were idolizing the Gen Xers. You know what I'm saying? Our idols were Gen X. You know what I'm saying? Some boomers here and there, but it was Gen X. If you look at a millennial, a lot of us is sampling. A millennial samples the Gen Xers, man. A lot of us are sampling the Gen Xers. The way we talk, the way we move is we idolize the Gen Xers, because odds are when you were growing up as a millennial, the dude in high school you knew of was a Gen Xer. You know what I'm saying? But the Zoomers, man, what's happened to the Zoomers is that they were experimented on and watered down heavy. There was heavy experimentation and watering down of the Zoomer, because you got to look at television. All you gotta do is ask yourself, and I'm gonna tell you the key, the series that literally tells you when they started experimenting on the millennials to the Zoomers was, all you gotta do is look up when Queer Eye for the Straight Guy started. All you gotta do when you get the chance, look up when Queer Eye for the Straight Guy started. And that's gonna tell you a lot. You know what I'm saying? Because Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, I think that was like 98. I think that was 98. And they were on basic television. You know what I'm saying? They were on basic television, no cable. They were accessible to everybody. Think about this, bro. A show where closet men, where rainbow riding men tell straight men how to dress. That's right. They had a whole show called Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, where guys, rainbow riders are telling straight men how to be attractive based on how they think you look. This is why in the black pill space, you know what I'm saying, it even hit the black pill, is that you would see guys in the black pill doing offering you that face rating by other men. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. You got men offering you a service to face rate you and tell you how attractive you are based on how another man looks at you. You know what I'm saying? Where did they get that from? You know what I'm saying? They got that from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. You know what I'm saying? And you could tell, I think around the late 90s was when the experiment started. Because right after Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, you had American Pie 2 drop. American Pie 2, where one of the most damaging scenes happened, where a girl told two guys to kiss each other so they could have a date with her. You know what I'm saying? So they could date her and her friend. That's how bad, that's when the manipulation started. And a lot of the Zoomers, you know, us millennials, we had enough time to absorb the Gen Xers lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? The Gen Xers who used to call, Gen Xers who lived by sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us older millennials, influenced by the Gen Xers lifestyle and idolizing them, it was a lot harder for them to influence us with Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. You know what I'm saying? We wouldn't look at a fairy to tell us how to dress. You know what I'm saying? That's the last thing on your mind, is a fairy telling you how to dress like a man. You know what I mean? So, but that was later on. That was like 98. So a lot of the younger millennials started getting influenced by that. You know, when they took the closet national. They put it all over television with Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. You know what I mean? And that started infecting a lot of the future generation. And you got to remember that when Queer Eye for the Straight Guy happened, what was that? I think it was 98. So a lot of us millennials in 98 were probably still in like second grade, first grade, kindergarten, something like that. You know what I'm saying? We were still pretty much in our adolescent age, when they dropped that bomb, Queer Eye for the Straight Guy. You know what I mean? And they were preparing for that for a long time. They dropped that. It was all over the news. We know now the closet field, it was promoted by all news stations, all TV networks. They say, it's the biggest show ever. The biggest show ever was a bunch of rainbow riders telling straight men how to dress, turning those straight men around, telling them, you look good. Think about that, man. That's what was happening. Now we fast forward to where we are now, and you look at the Zoomers who have grown up with, the Zoomers are the generation with the highest level of fatherlessness, you know what I'm saying? No fathers around the Zoomers, you know what I mean? So what happens is now the Zoomers have been infected by this whole narrative, being more feminized, There's a lot of Zoomers I've met from age let's say age 21 to about 25, and you could see it. You could see the flamingo. You could see the flamingo-ness in them, you know, them moving like a flamingo. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in a position like you'll see a zoomer. I gotta see if I can. You'll see a zoomer where their hand is on their shoulder, you know, on their side, like a bird. You know what I'm saying? Like a bird. You'll see a zoomer with their hand on their shoulder. Oh man, hey man. Yeah, Fatal J, man. Hey man, the Rainbow Riders. It's a safe word. YouTube can't block that. You know, YouTube can't block that word, Rainbow Rider. You know. You know what I mean? You remember Common Rider, right? Yo, Common Rider, now we got the Rainbow Rider, you know? So, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's what's going on, man. So the Zoomers were infected by it. You know, they had less fathers around. They had less fathers around. And you see that with the Zoomers. The Zoomers tend to have their hands on their waist or their shoulder like a bird, man, like a flamingo. You know what I'm saying? That's why the Zoomers, a lot of them I've seen move very feminine, man, or very closet influenced. You know, I've seen that a lot, and I've seen that with some millennials that are trying to blend in. You know, there's a lot of millennials that, oh man, my whole life I'm no longer toxic masculinity, and you see a lot of the millennials that want to adapt. I've seen some Gen Xers as well, but in the Zoomers, man, yo, it's like a plague. You know what I mean? You see them, their hands out like a feather. A Zoomer almost look like the way their hands are out, like they're ready to fly. You know what I'm saying? You know how a bird's wings are always on the side, like the bird is ready to fly. And I've seen a lot of Zoomers where, man, you know what I mean, they got their hands stretched out like a flamingo. They're ready to fly at any time, you know what I mean? So, but what's coming is this, man, 2026. What's coming is you're gonna see a great divide between men. You're gonna see a great divide between us men. And the great divide is that there's gonna be men that accept things for what they are, which is, you know, why I keep telling guys full-time ghost and, you know, move accordingly. And then you're gonna have the men that, you got the red pillars, you know, your Andrew Tates, your Jordan Lee Peterson, Mr. Clean Your Room. You know, you got all these men that are preaching, we need to return things to what they were. We need to save things and all that BS, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if YouTube might have deleted it, but I had a stream years ago where I told guys the MRA failed because there was a bunch of men holding signs outside begging. You know what I'm saying? Begging, oh, we bring back fatherhood. Save our children, save us men. You know what I'm saying? And they were begging the very same government that put them in this place to change the law. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of men laughed at him. Look up the movie The Red Pill, and you'll be laughing. The Red Pill movie was literally filmed by a woman. You know what I'm saying? That's how funny The Red Pill is, man. That's how funny. That's why The Red Pill is a joke. You know, the Red Pill movie was filmed by a woman. Yo, come on, man. Yo, a movie for men's rights was filmed by a woman saying, well, I used to think these men were the aggressors and they were the problem with the world. But now I've filmed them, I feel sympathetic for them. Come on, man. It was embarrassing. A Red Pill movie, man. That's why a lot of men now, you know, the Red Pill is mainstream. We laugh at them, man. We laugh at those dudes, man. You got a bunch of Red Pillars interviewing OnlyFans models and asking an OnlyFans model, why don't you want to be a wife? You know what I'm saying? Like she qualified. She's an OF model. That's like me walking up to a street walker and saying, hey, don't you want to be a wife, dog? She doesn't qualify to be a wife. That's how problematic the red pill is, man. The red pill is basically saying that by virtue of a OF model being a woman, since an OnlyFans model is a woman, she qualifies to be a wife. She qualifies to be somebody's girlfriend in long-term relationship. I used to tell guys all the time, I still tell guys that the red pill is nothing more. And I made a video years ago. This is why I keep telling people I'm ahead of my time, man. I'm 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years ahead of my damn time. I made a video years ago called Red Pill PUA. Red Pill PUA, man. I know YouTube doesn't, basically YouTube hides and buries my content, so, but when you get a chance, watch that video, Red Pill PUA. You'll see that these red pillars are nothing more than guys trying to trap you, man. It's a trap. You know what I'm saying? Because they know a lot of men are growing up without fathers. A man growing up without a father is in danger. The danger that man is in is that he was never taught to, you know what I'm saying, hold his shield, hold your ground. There's a lot of men without fathers looking for a father figure in a stranger. Your father will never tell you to trust. Your father will tell you, yo, man, I know that's your uncle, but, you know, don't fully trust your uncle. You know what I'm saying? Your father will teach you, yo, don't fully trust any other man. You know what I'm saying? Your father would even tell you, this is why fathers would tell their sons, yo, I make mistakes, son. I make mistakes. So don't fully invest or trust even in me. You know what I'm saying? I make mistakes. But you got a lot of men online that don't have a father and their walls is down. Their walls is down. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, a Fatal J. Yeah, red pillars also make money off simps with those courses. Yeah, well, we killed that, man. We killed the red pill dating coaches. They went extinct. You know what I'm saying? I remember I was on Smash TV, and you know, we black pillars, man, we destroyed them, man. They got so exposed. The red pill got so exposed that they came to the black pill trying to get men to join courses. You know, that's how messed up they were. But the thing is, man, there's a lot of men growing up right now that are in danger. The danger is that your wall isn't up. Your wall ain't up on other men. Oh, another man, you got Jordan Lee Closet Peterson, telling men, well, if you want a better life, just clean your room, man. Clean your room. And if you start your day cleaning your room, the world will be better. That's right. Just cleaning your room, the law won't affect you. You know what I'm saying? That's how problematic things are, man. You got men buying courses from men that tell you the way to change your whole life, and it's a Canadian. You know what I'm saying? We Americans have always laughed at Canadians, you know. No offense, but you know, it's something they do here in America. You know what I'm saying? They laugh at Canadians. But you got Jordan Lee Peterson, a Canadian, telling men, hey, just clean your room. If you clean your room, you'll start your day a lot better, and your whole life will be better. You know what I'm saying? A lot of men have been affected by these red pill guys, man, because a lot of men don't have their wall up. They don't have their defenses up against men they don't know. You know what I'm saying? Against men that are strangers. You know, there's a lot of men idolizing strangers, looking up to them. Oh, shit, wow. Oh, cherry tree. Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah. So that's what's happening, man. But I'm telling you, 2026, what's happening is that we're having a great divide. You got the men of the old, the men that want the 1950s America, and then you'll have the men of now, the men that have accepted that you can't ask the government that created this situation for help. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna tell the government, hey, return things to 1950 where you made this law? It's like me telling a murderer, you know, why won't you return to when you were innocent before you murdered somebody? So you're telling him, go back to before he murdered, knowing he's gonna commit murder anyway. You know what I'm saying? It's stupid. You're gonna ask the government, the very same government back in the 1950s, 60s, that said, you know what, men having a family, men investing in a family, having an extended family is an act of communism. You know what I'm saying? If you look it up, the government, and I was one of the only guys talking about this, people would look at me weird when I would say, yo, the government doesn't want you to have an extended family. The government don't want you to have an uncle, don't want you to have a great-grandfather, a granduncle, a grandma, an auntie. The government doesn't want you to have an extended family. They want you to have the nuclear family because it's a lot easier to control you. And then if you look back, there was a bigger channel. There's a channel with over 1 million subs. He made a video where he said the government declared that if you have an extended family, you're a communist, you're a socialist. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. The government said you having an extended family is a threat to this country, even though this country started with men bringing their entire family here. Grandma, grandpa, the extended family. But the government said this is an act of communism. You know what I'm saying? You're a commie for having a family. You know what I'm saying? The same government that pushes the narrative, the household, the strong family begins with a mother, father, and child. Well, they didn't mention grandma, grandpa, uncles, and, you know, grandsons, all that. They don't want that. You know what I'm saying? The same government, same politicians that every day keep preaching this family crap don't want you to have an extended family. And what's happening in 2026, what's coming in 2026, because right now there's a lot of women making content saying they can't find men are no longer approaching them, and this and that. You know, like I said at the beginning of this stream, the new word for men is now, there are 2 new words. You know, this is the word to explain how men are moving. Men are moving at N.A.D.A. Let me explain to you what N.A.D.A means, since I said at the beginning of the stream. N.A.D.A means never available daily access. Let me repeat that. N.A.D.A means never available daily access. That's what's happening to men. They are never available daily access. There's never any availability for you to talk to the men anymore. That's what's happening. This is what happens when the men are now saying the only priority in my life is me. There's nothing outside of me. There's nothing before me. There is nothing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else, you want to access me? Nah, man. It's N.A.D.A. You know, never available daily access. That's what's happening. There is no room for men to be available for anybody besides themselves. You know what I'm saying? This is the age. You know, they've been saying, oh, men are selfish. Men have been selfish. And even though we got men that have died, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Beast, this is how bad and disrespectful things are. Mr. Beast made a video. He made a video in a burning building. I've been telling you guys that Mr. Beast is basically making fetish. He's making fetish content for rich people, for wealthy people. His whole idea is to make content showing poor people doing things for money. You know what I'm saying? That's what Mr. Beast is doing. Making content to showcase poor people will do anything for money. And one thing Mr. Beast did recently that is extremely disrespectful, man. It disrespects men completely, is that He's hosting a contest where how long can a man stay in a burning building? You know, think about how long can a man stay in a burning building after men lost their lives in 9/11, running into those buildings to save lives. Men that are firefighters. You know what I'm saying? Think about that, man. Think about that. How openly they disrespect men. You know what I'm saying? That Mr. Beast made a competition disrespecting men who risk their lives as firefighters every day to save lives as a game. This is what's happening. And men are realizing, you know, I made a video a long time ago, it's on YouTube as well, about the church. The church is trying to trap men as well. I made videos about that. Men have reached the point of, like I said, NADA, never available daily access. This is what's happening to men, because men since the 2010s till now, men have been attacked by their religion. Men have been attacked by corporate. Men have been attacked by everything. You know what I'm saying? So the men now realize there's no one you can turn to. There's no one you can talk to or fully trust that has your best, your best interest as a man in the West. That's why men are going to NADA, you know, never available daily access, because a lot of these people are trying to trap you. You know what I'm saying? The churches, think about this, the churches will say, we're going to marry you under God, knowing that the law does not recognize God. The law does not recognize the vows between a man and a woman. You know what I'm saying? The law will openly destroy a family. A man will not get access to his children. The churches know that. The same churches that keep claiming, oh, they're fighting for God and this and that. When was the last time you saw the Vatican go to the Supreme Court to say, oh, this marriage stuff ain't right. The laws y'all got here is disrespecting God. It's destroying the sanctity of marriage. When have you seen that? You know what I'm saying? But you see the Pope talking about accepting the closet in the church. You know what I'm saying? Because if you accept the closet in the church, the Pope doesn't have to apologize for all them male children that were touched in the church closet. You know what I'm saying? This is what's happening, man. So a lot of men noticing corporate, you got corporations, TED Talks, you got all these, think about this, TED Talks, corporations letting women talk about, oh, men and women don't make the same amount of money, even though Target and all of them pay men and women the same. You know what I'm saying? Men have realized that, bro, everything on the Western side, besides making money, you know what I'm saying? Besides making some money, everything else is a liability. Everything else is a risk to you, man. And in men evolving and adapting with what's happening, by 2026, you're gonna see something like you've never seen before. You know, it's gonna be a mass of men. Right now, the red pill is mainstream. The red pill is mainstream. The black pill is mainstream, you know? You know what I'm saying? I could go on about the other pills, but I don't want to confuse you. You know, I want to keep this simple, you know, but those are mainstream, right? It's mainstream, the red pill messaging. You could go online, you could go on TV, you could find the red pill, you know, you could find the black pill. Women are literally speaking about and confirming the black pill, that, you know, a man's looks and all that. But what happens when full-time ghosting goes mainstream? You know what I'm saying? What happens when it's now mainstream to never not being able to access men? You know, that is just the norm. It's now the norm that men walk around, you could see them, but no one can touch them. No one can talk to them. You know what I'm saying? This is what's coming. You know, full-time ghosting is coming, where society won't be able to access the men anymore. You know what I'm saying? The men will no longer be accessible, you know? And no one's seen that. No one's seen what a society like that looks like. When there's just men, they go to work, they go about their business, you see them, and you can't ask them for anything. You know what I'm saying? You can't ask those men for nothing. That's what's coming. And I'd say by 2026 to about 2027, you're gonna see the rise of men going full-time ghost, where the women won't even get an opportunity. Right now, you got a situation. You know, I coined the term part-time ghosting. What's the difference between full-time ghosting and part-time ghosting? The major difference between part-time ghosting and full-time ghosting is that part-time ghosting, people can still have an opportunity to access you. You know what I'm saying? So you'll hear a lot of women say, well, this man was scheduling a date and he ghosted her. You see, there's a chance for interaction. That's what part-time ghosting is. There's a chance that someone will interact with you, that you will somewhat give a window, you'll talk to them or whatever. But what's coming now is full-time ghosting, where there is no chance to interact with a man at all. You know what I'm saying? That man does not consider any level of interaction at all, where that man doesn't control everything. You know what I'm saying? The men are going to operate on an absolute control situation. There is no such thing as, you know, we made a deal to meet here, meet there. There is none of that anymore. A lot of men are operating now with the perspective that we look at what we can and can't control. That's all a lot of men are looking at. Can I control it, or can I control? That's it. And when men operate on that narrative of either I have absolute control or no control, what you think they're gonna choose? They're gonna choose absolute control. And the only thing a man has absolute control over now is himself. This is why you see a lot more men traveling, taking flights, a lot harder to reach a lot more men. Men are realizing, yo man, at a flip of a coin, at a drop of a dime, you know, things could happen. False accusations, this and that. And the other thing is, men are looking at relationships from a standpoint of, I can't tell anything anyway. I can't tell a woman nothing. You know what I'm saying? I can't have any authority. A male's authority now is deemed misogyny. You know what I'm saying? It is misogynist for you as a man, a straight man, to have any authority. It's misogyny. You know what I'm saying? It is misogynist for you as a straight man to have any standards, for you to have any authority. It's misogynist, it's sexist, it's abuse. You know what I'm saying? It's abuse. So what happens when a lot of men accept that? You know, accept that and say, oh, that's how it is, okay. We'll accept it and move accordingly. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have a generation of men, and it's happening. I give it 2026 to about 2028, because Gen Alpha is gonna change the whole thing, man. Gen Alpha, you know, YouTube deleted my stream on the Zoomers. I did a stream on the Zoomer women, the Zoomer, you know, I did some streams and they deleted it, you know, because, you know, YouTube knows I'm ahead of the curve, man. I'm too far ahead. They're scared, you know. I got a personal message from YouTube that told me they're scared of me. You know what I'm saying? They told me they were scared. You know, they told me I was stealing content. They wanted me to apologize. Fear. You know what I'm saying? Fear, the fear of a man that leaves no openings for hope. You know what I mean? There ain't no hope. A lot of people know me. A lot of people that's been watching my content, I've talked to, emailed, we chopped it up on Discords. They know I don't leave no hope, man. There is no hope. There is no hope in math, you know. 5 plus 5 is 10. You could hope 5 plus 5 equals 8. You could hope 5 plus 5 equals 9.5, but 5 plus 5 equals 10. And when you look at the world from a mathematical standpoint, in math, there is no room for hope. You know what I'm saying? There's no room for hope in math. You know what I'm saying? 5 plus 5 is 10. That's it. That's it, man. And as more men become this way, where there won't be no room, there is no room for hope. Why you think that word cope? Why you think that word cope is becoming so big, man? We used to talk about in the black pill, black pill 5.0. We used to talk about this in the black pill 5.0 about hope and cope. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think the word cope is such a big thing now? You know what I'm saying? Copium, cope, and, Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? I remember I made that, a can of Coca-Cola. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of men are realizing that you are an embarrassment if you offer a man hope. Hope is not covered by the law. You know what I'm saying? When have you seen hope and cope covered by the law? You haven't seen that, right? I've never seen that in the law. I didn't see constitution and hope within the law. You know, I didn't see that. So a lot of men are now operating on any man that offers them hope is an enemy. You know what I'm saying? That man is seen as a problem. That man is seen as danger. If you talk to a man from a standpoint of hope and cope, that man sees you as a threat to his life. You know what I'm saying? That's what's happening now. You can't offer men hope anymore. You know what I'm saying? Hope is the distraction. Is to push a man to not value and place his life on the facts, the math. You know what I'm saying? The math, men are now seeing any man that offers them hope as a threat. Hope is a danger. You know what I'm saying? You don't see me saying, I always tell guys this: if I got a hope for you, that means I couldn't really talk to you from a factual standpoint. You know what I'm saying? It's happened. There's some guys, I had a problem with a guy. I'm not gonna say the names. I won't say the name, but there was a guy. He contacted me. He said he was an ICEL. I don't know if YouTube allows you to stay. He was an ICEL. He told me, yo, hold the truth hostage. I'm an ICEL. I've been an ICEL for over 5-10 years. You know what I'm saying? And the guy contacted me and I gave him advice. I told him, bro, that ICEL stuff is a scam. I told him that, but I told him, yo, what you got to do, you got to first help yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got to go get a haircut. You got to value your hygiene. Take care of yourself. You must first learn to care for yourself, because there's a lot of guys, once they say I'm an ICEL, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Maybe a better word is, you know what I mean? I'm an ICEL. Once a guy says another word, I can't say the full word. I'm an ICEL. A lot of guys that identify as an ICEL, they abandon themselves, man. They don't take care of their hygiene. They don't clean themselves like they should. They live, for them to be an ICEL, it's kind of like a religious thing. Their whole religion is that if the women don't value me, I have no value, which means I can't value myself. So you'll see a lot of ICELs on YouTube and online. They just live to abuse themselves, man. You know what I'm saying? And they have an unhealthy perspective that women are basically like what's the word? Virtuous, like a virtuous symbol. A woman is seen as like their Jesus, their God. So if they're God, a woman doesn't value them, they shouldn't value themselves. So what happened is, this ICEL contacted me, involuntarily celibate, whatever. He contacted me and I told him, bro, yo, clean up, man. Go get a haircut, man. Go get a haircut. Take care of yourself. And the guy snapped on me. But you know me, man. I laugh at things. So the guy snapped on me and said, oh, hold the truth hostage. You don't know what you're talking about, bro. Why would I go get a haircut and clean myself And the guy started snapping. He said, "I've been an ICEL my whole life. I'm a go to the grave an ICEL." And the guy, snapped on me. Then guess what, man? Guess what the guy did? The guy kept coming after me, disrespected me. Guess what the guy's doing now? He's got a haircut. He cleans himself up, and guess what? He's traveling the world now. You know what I'm saying? He's traveling the world now. When I told the guy, get a haircut, clean up, you're good. You got a good career, you got a good job, you got a good life on your hands. Travel, enjoy your life. And the guy was against that, and now that's what he's doing. The guy snapped on me, the guy went against me and all that, and now he's literally living a life based on what I told him. You know what I'm saying? Based on what I told him. He's got a haircut now. He cleans up. He's traveling. He's living his life. You know what I mean? After telling me, oh, hold the truth hostage, man, you don't know what you're talking about. Why would I get a haircut? Why would I clean up? Why would I care about myself? And now that's what the guy's doing. He's living his life based on what I've told him. You know what I mean? You know? You know what I mean? That's the thing. We've been raised to think, to seek validation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the guy don't talk to me no more. The guy disrespected me. And the guy openly disrespected me publicly. You know what I'm saying? But guess what he's doing? He validated everything I told him, because his whole life now is based on the solutions I gave him. You know what I'm saying? The solutions I gave him, that's how he's basing his life now. I don't need the guy to tell me, oh, hold the truth hostage, you were right. None of that don't matter, because the actions, the way he's living his life now already says I was right. You know what I'm saying? I recently looked at his channel and some videos he's doing, and the guy's traveling the world living his life, man. You know what I'm saying? When a couple years ago, guy was telling me I was crazy. You know what I mean? But now he's living his life, valuing himself. There's a lot of ICELs, involuntary celibate, which is a scam. That whole involuntary celibate community is a scam, because the problem with the involuntarily celibate is that they believe in the romantic notions of the film industry. That, oh, no woman's chose them and looked them in the eye and became their lover and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So they don't value their lives. They base their lives on the pursuit of a romance, a romantic acceptance that comes from films and movies. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of ICELs, because you can't, in America, you really can't be involuntarily celibate. There's Vegas. Vegas exists in America. You could take a flight to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? In America, there's no way you can be involuntarily celibate. You know what I'm saying? You could pay for that. But what's happened is a lot of guys have misplaced the word. It's not really involuntarily celibate. It's really involuntarily without a relationship. That's what it really is. There's a lot of guys on the ICEL community, they just don't want to admit that they're wrong. You know what I'm saying? And they don't want to admit that they're really looking for a relationship in the Western world. And they just involuntarily can't find a relationship here. It's not that they're involuntarily celibate. Dude, man, sex is like buying pizza in America. It's for sale. Oh, that was a good one, you know what I mean? I gotta repeat that. Sex is like buying pizza in America. It's for sale. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so what's happening, bro, by 2026, what's gonna happen is men will no longer be reachable. You're now witnessing a situation where they're part-time ghosting. Every man right now is either part-time ghosting, sometimes ghosting. There's no such thing as a man not ghosting. And what's happening, like I said, part-time ghosting is people still can interact with you. People can still set things they can still contact and decide or try to tell you what to do. But full-time ghosting is coming. And what's going to happen is a lot of men are going to be roaming this country, roaming the West, roaming China. There's a lot of guys I think I got to make a video about this, how China was chasing the West, and look at China now. China's birth rates have declined to an insane level. The Chinese are literally lying about their population. That's how bad their population is in China. You know what I'm saying? Bad their population is in South Korea. The East is chasing the West. A lot of people don't want to admit that the East is chasing the West. But to get back to things is that, man, by 2026 to 2027, we're gonna see a massive issue where full-time ghosting is gonna go mainstream, because the alpha generation is actually gonna be the first generation where ghosting is a part of their life. Ghosting is a part of their life since day one, because I was talking to some of the homies that are Zoomers. I was talking to some of the homies that are Zoomers and some of the homies that are millennials, and we were talking, and while talking, we realized that, dude, Gen Alpha didn't grow up watching TV. Gen Alpha, they just gave Gen Alpha YouTube. Gen Alpha is the first generation in America to grow up without interaction with a family sitcom. They're the first generation that is being raised where family has no influence on entertainment. Family has no influence on entertainment for Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha is growing up where everything they watch has no family. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Gen Alpha, when their mom gave them that tablet, they're watching streamers that are, look at me, for example, I'm streaming. Think about it. Every stream that I have done, you've never seen me with a woman. Think about that. Every stream that I have done, you've never seen me stream with a girlfriend, a woman. You've never seen that in your life. And the mass majority of Gen Alpha is being raised on that. They're being raised on the fact that family has no value. You know what I'm saying? In entertainment. Gen Alpha, I think the oldest Gen Alpha is now 14. By the time Gen Alpha turns about 18, when the average age of Gen Alpha is 18, which, think about it, 18, what is that, in the next 3 to 4 years? Oh, MGTOW Cowboy, what's good, bro? What's up, man? You know what I mean? What's good, brother? My man. And again, thank you for that interview, man. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I was saying, Gen Alpha, bro, they are the ghost generation. We grew up, I'm a millennial, some guys watching Gen X, Zoomers. We grew up watching Family Guy, The Simpsons, Home Improvement, Full House, Steve Urkel. We grew up watching family. Our main form of entertainment was something involving a family. You know what I'm saying? Gen Alpha doesn't have that. Gen Alpha, their main form of family, besides some cartoons with little kids teaching them English and all that, their majority of their content is watching streamers that are single men. The main content they consume is men that are alone. Let me repeat that. The main content Gen Alpha consumes are men that are alone. What's up, Cowboy? What's good? That's what they're growing up with. You know what I'm saying? Unlike the Zoomers who have some level of interaction with Family Guy, sitcoms, family, and so on, Gen Alpha is growing up where they've never watched or never had to watch anything with family. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Think about what that does to the psychological mind of a boy growing up where they've never had to watch a show that was based around the family. You know what I'm saying? Gen Alpha will not understand nor have values for the nuclear family at all. You know, guys like us, I'm a millennial. I grew up, I was raised around the nuclear family. Every TV show I can think about, nuclear family, you know, that 70s show, Full House, Living Single, everything I've watched and had to watch was around the nuclear family, the family nucleus. That scam, the nuclear family. But Gen Alpha will be the first generation that all of their entertainment had nothing to do with family. And not only that, but their entertainment was anti-male authority, anti-stability. Gen Alpha is the ghost generation. You know what I'm saying? Ghosting is a part of how they were raised. You know what I'm saying? And what we're about to see when Gen Alpha turns 18, it's gonna be a whole new world. Especially with the fact, Kalala, what's good, man? What's up, bro? What's good, man? What's up? I'm testing. I'm live right now on YouTube's live stream. I'm surprised it works this well. YouTube's live stream. But the thing is, Gen Alpha, man, and I was shout out to the homie Kalala. I was talking to him about this on the Discord. Is that Gen Alpha will be the first generation without a family. They will be the first generation where entertainment has nothing to do with family. Think about that. And Gen Alpha, and a lot of people don't understand the other thing that's happening with Gen Alpha that no generation has ever had access to is AI. This will be the first generation to literally have accessible intelligence. Gen Alpha is going to be the first generation that doesn't have to be smart at all. You know what I'm saying? Gen Alpha will be the first generation. All they need to know is how to read 6th grade. If a Gen Alpha can read a 6th grade level, they're set. Because they have access to AI. The AI is smarter than them. They'll be the first generation where they don't need intelligence. You know what I'm saying? I did a stream called Fail Forward. My last stream, you could check it out, Fail Forward, where I explained that we never had to truly graduate high school with an A. If you were a D student, you were actually one of the smartest. One of the smartest kids is the kid that accepts the truth that your grades in high school don't matter. You know what I'm saying? They don't matter. You could still graduate with a D. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. You could graduate high school with a D, and then when you go apply for jobs, they don't ask you about your high school grades. You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, my brother, I gotta call that man. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, man, you gotta understand that this is what's going on, man. Gen Alpha is gonna be, and you know how funny it is that Gen Alpha is called the Alpha generation. You know what I'm saying? They will be the first generation where all they know is loneliness. You know what I'm saying? All they know, the start of their life, everybody they idolize is a man being alone. You know what I'm saying? All their favorite streamers and YouTubers, whatever they're watching, are men that are alone. You know what I'm saying? Think about you watching me right now. If you're a millennial or an older Zoomer or a Gen Xer, for you, this is weird. For you, there's a level of weirdness that you've been watching this Hold the Truth Hostage guy for years, and you've never seen a woman around him. You know what I'm saying? For you, it's weird. For you, this isn't normal because you were raised on culture and entertainment where a man and a woman were always interacting. You know what I'm saying? You were raised on it. But Gen Alpha, it's going to be weird for Gen Alpha if they were to see a guy streaming with a woman. You know what I mean? They're going to be like, why is she here? You know what I'm saying? Why does he have a woman around him? Well, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? What is he selling? For Gen Alpha, you're going to be a scammer. You're going to be seen as a grifter if you interact in a way that the millennials and Zoomers and Gen X interacted with, which is relationships, seeing men and women together. For Gen Alpha, it's gonna be weird to see a man and a woman together. Remember, Gen Alpha is gonna be the generation, the highest single motherhood generation ever is Gen Alpha. You know what I'm saying? Well, maybe the Zoomers. I think it's Gen Alpha because Gen Alpha, even though there weren't that many of them born, the majority of Gen Alpha is raised on single motherhood. You know what I'm saying? So for Gen Alpha, it's gonna be weird. It's gonna be weird seeing a man make content or talk with a woman. Think about that. Think about that, man. Gen Alpha is the ghost generation, man. They will know nothing more than ghosting. Ghosting will be normal for Gen Alpha, especially since Gen Alpha is raised where boys should not interact with girls. You know what I'm saying? That for a boy to interact with a girl or even try to talk to a girl, it's seen as misogyny, internalized misogyny. The Gen Alpha is raised on normal and natural is a negative. You know what I'm saying? Normal and natural is a negative for Gen Alpha. You know what I'm saying? Gen Alpha is the ghost generation, man. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be normal for Gen Alpha to say, man, I don't hang around with nobody. You know what I'm saying? I just do my own thing and I talk to my AI. I talk to ChatGPT about life. I talk to ChatGPT about my future. You know what I'm saying? I don't trust people like I trust AI. You know what I'm saying? Pretty soon, you know what I'm saying? Wait for the ice cream man to stop for a minute. Hold up. You know what I'm saying? That's the ice cream truck. The ice cream man. You know what I mean? But like I was saying, man, Gen Alpha will be the ghost generation, man. Gen Alpha will be the ghost generation. And for Gen Alpha, it's gonna be weird, It's gonna be weird for Gen Alpha to see a man and a woman together. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, Gen Alpha is going to school and Gen Alpha is being told to not even, some ice cream. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you know what I mean? Some, the ice cream out there. I'm soft serving knowledge out here. Cold, I'm dropping cold facts with an ice cream truck music behind me, But Gen Alpha, man, will be the first generation where it's completely normalized that men do not interact with women. You know what I'm saying? Think about that, man. Think about that. You as a millennial, think about that. That, for us, it was normal. For you, it was normal as a millennial. I'm gonna try to holler at this girl. I'm gonna try to talk to her. I'm gonna try to see if she's into me and all this and that. But for the Gen Alpha, that's abuse. That's internalized misogyny. You know what I'm saying? That's internalized misogyny. And the very fact that you would be thinking about asking only a girl out, that is you being, what is that crap? That's you not being gender fluid, right? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? This is what Gen Alpha will face, man. Gen Alpha will be the ghosting generation. For them, they know nothing more than ghosting. You know what I'm saying? And Gen Alpha with AI, like I said, and mark my words, man, I've been right about this too many times. YouTube literally deleted a live stream where I used to make called the Black Pill Prophecy, where I prophesize the future. You know what I'm saying? YouTube deleted some of those videos because I was too damn accurate. Check this out, man. Mark my words. You heard it here first, man. You heard it here first that very soon you're gonna see a rehabilitation. You're gonna see a push to rehabilitate people that only know how to interact with AI. You're gonna have a group of people where they can only talk to AI. You're gonna have a situation happen where we must rehabilitate them so they can actually talk to people. You know what I'm saying? Talk to people. This is what's gonna happen, bro. You're gonna see guys, and you're gonna see Gen Alpha. You're gonna see a generation of people that grew up where all they know is how to interact with AI. They don't know how to interact with other people. And you're gonna see a program. You're gonna see rehabilitation. You're gonna see, how could I forget? Rehab. You're gonna see rehab pop up. Why do you think they're pushing out BetterHelp? They're pushing BetterHelp out. Think about when BetterHelp started blowing up, where every YouTuber is pushing BetterHelp, and BetterHelp pops out during AI. BetterHelp was literally launched in, what is that, 2 years before AI? 2 to 3 years before AI, we kept seeing BetterHelp. Oh yeah, the System Guidance Center. Yeah, bro, you're gonna see a generation of men that can't talk to other people. You know what I'm saying? Can't talk to other people. They can't trust other people at all. Remember what's happened to us, during this whole Me Too and this whole anti-male push, was that there were people that were looking to turn and make content about you being a misogynist. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, the ice cream man is back. Let me walk my way. I gotta get out of here. But and what's gonna happen with Gen Alpha? What's gonna happen with Gen Alpha is that Gen Alpha will be the first generation where they will need help to talk to other people. They're gonna need help to talk to other people because they can't trust anyone. Like the homie, give me 1 second. Oh man, the ice cream truck, man. And what the homie said, what Kalala said about the system guidance is that, and why he said System Guidance Center is that, let me just touch on system guidance quick if you don't remember, is that there are men like, Jordan Lee Peterson, you know what I'm saying? Andrew Tate, the whole red pill, there's a lot of men that want to guide you back to the system. There's a lot of guys in the red pill that are telling you, you need to find a woman with, that has traditional values, that will love you and this and that. When we all know the law doesn't change. The laws are still there. And we've seen men that got married with their high school sweetheart lose all their assets. We've seen that. You know what I'm saying? They want to guide you back to the system. This is why when I made a live stream, which I'll premiere it on here, it was from Rumble, where I told guys that men will no longer trust married men. Men will no longer trust fathers. You know what I'm saying? Men will now start seeing any man that puts their life at risk or is living a risky life where they could lose everything as someone that is a problem, someone that is a risk, that's trying to tell them to risk their lives. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of men will avoid anybody who offers them advice to return to the system. Get married, start a family, have kids and all this and that. God damn, man, this ice cream truck, it's like it's the ice cream man is chasing me out here. You know what I mean? Getting chased by the ice cream man. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, a lot of men will not trust or take any advice from a man that advice is offering them hope. You know what I'm saying? This is why men will no longer listen to any man that's a father. Men will not value perspectives from a man that's a father anymore. But what's gonna happen to Gen Alpha is that Gen Alpha is not gonna trust people. And think about it, BetterHelp, and think about how much these streamers, you can't find a YouTuber, shout out to the homie Kalala, we were talking about it, where a YouTuber that makes videos about video games is telling you, go join BetterHelp. BetterHelp helped me. You know what I'm saying? What's gonna happen with Gen Alpha is Gen Alpha's gonna be the first generation that does not trust talking to other people at all. Let me mute this quick, the ice cream man. Being chased by the ice cream man out here. Yeah. The ice, it comes the ice cream man. But like I was saying, Gen Alpha will be the first generation where they have to be rehabilitated. There's gonna be a pop-up groups. There's gonna be groups, mark my words, man. Give it 5 to 10 years. And it'll start popping up before those years, but you're gonna see rehabilitation centers to reintroduce men to, and not just men, but you're gonna see, I think mostly women, because there's a big narrative that a lot of men are talking to AI. But where, like, I use AI a lot. A lot of stuff I use AI for is business. Business and writing stories. But a lot of women, that's all they do. Women have been taught to just gossip and talk. They've stripped them of any ability. Sewing has been removed. They've stripped them of picking flowers, planting, gardening. They've stripped them of any activity beyond pursuing money and consuming. They've turned women to a machine of consumption, waste. You know what I'm saying? That's really it. That's what they've turned women to. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna see, it's coming. Mark my words, you heard it here first. You're gonna see a massive amount of schools, colleges. It's gonna be all over the news where they say, oh man, these kids, these people need help rehabilitating to talk to people. They're gonna create a new terminology. It's not gonna be introverts. I don't have the word in my mind right now, but they're gonna create a new word to describe people that only communicate with AI. You're gonna see a rise of people, I'd say about from Gen Alpha's gonna be huge on it, but you're gonna see a rise from millennials to about Zoomers. You're gonna see a rise, especially the Zoomers, because the Zoomers are becoming adults right now. You know what I'm saying? The Zoomers are in the range of 18 to about 28. So the Zoomers, they're reaching their adultness, their 30s, they're nearing their 30s now. So you're gonna see a rise of news stations reporting that these people only talk to AI. They don't talk to people anymore. You're gonna see a group of people where all they do is talk and chat with Chat GPT. That's it. It's gonna be a bunch of guys now and a bunch of people that say, you know what ChatGPT told me about this and that. You know what ChatGPT told me. You're gonna see a rise. There's probably gonna be a hashtag what ChatGPT told me, what AI told me, what AI. You're gonna see a rise in that because the 2010s was all about destroying your trust of other people. You can't talk to other people online no more, man. You talk to other people, what they gonna do? They're gonna screenshot your conversations. They're gonna record response. The people are turning you to content now. We are a content first connection. You know what I'm saying? Content first. You could go on TikTok and see every woman now, every date, every conversation, every relationship, they call it content. So how many men are gonna volunteer to be content of someone else? And you know what I'm gonna say, volunteers can't be victims. A lot of men looking at the fact that you could turn them to content. You could say, oh man, my misogynist friend, episode 5. My sexist friend, episode 13. Men will no longer talk to other people. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see an escalation and a rise of distrust. Men not trusting any other people to talk to. It's going to be, I talk to my AI. You know what I'm saying? ChatGPT is not going to share and upload what I've said on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all these other social media sites and make fun of me. I can always count on ChatGPT to not share our conversations in the public. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Think about what I just said. You know what I'm saying? Can you honestly right now trust that anyone you're talking to won't share and turn you to content? Can you trust that you could try to become friends with someone without them looking at you as content? We're now in a content first culture where a mass majority of people interact with one another as content. You know what I'm saying? I saw this in the 2010s as a bouncer where people would come to the bar with their phones and film everything. Their lives was content for other people. You know what I'm saying? And that ice cream man is chasing me out here. You know what I mean? But that's what's happening. And then you got all these YouTubers, these dummies, these YouTube idiots telling everybody, without them understanding, they're training their audience to not talk to them. You got YouTubers that are grown husbands, that have a family, coming online to say they got mental health issues. They need better help. They're literally telling their woman, giving their woman all the ammo. Like I remember I saw Max Dudes, a YouTuber that covers fighting games, say, I needed better help. You know what I'm saying? His wife now, if she divorces him and takes the child, she got all the evidence she needs. That idiot, Max Dudes, literally did a stream where I need mental health. You know what I'm saying? Then you got all these other YouTubers talking about mental health. They're idiots, man. They're idiots, man. You know what I'm saying? So what you're gonna see with Gen Alpha, you're gonna see a generation of men that do not talk to other people. Think about it. Your first friend, your first conversation, you're gonna see this. You're gonna ask some men growing up, what was the first person you talked to? They're like, yeah, my first conversation was with ChatGPT. Some people, their first conversation was with ChatGPT. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Think about that, man. Their first conversation was with AI. You know what I'm saying? Their first conversation was with AI. It wasn't with no damn people, and that's going to become a norm. Because Gen Alpha is going to be the first generation where it's normalized that their first friend isn't human. It's a chatbot. It's AI. You know what I'm saying? Where we were growing up, you could be an introvert, you're a loner, you don't have friends or whatever, and you don't talk to nobody. Now, there's gonna be some kids raised where AI was their only friend. AI was who they talk to. They don't talk to nobody else. There are people, and now I got ChatGPT on my phone. I could, you got the apps. Very soon, some people will have the chatbot programmed to where it listens to everything they deal with. It heard what they were talking about, their job, everything. So they talk to their chatbot every day. They talk to their chatbot about school, their jobs, what they're going through. And the damage this ain't gonna damage the men as much as it will damage the women. Because the women have that fraternal clock, that clock. Just imagine what's gonna happen, when the men say, oh man, yo son, why aren't you talking to a girl right now? Nah, I spoke to ChatGPT, man. You know what I'm saying? Let me see those spy Alexa speakers Amazon sells. Yeah, but it's not even Alexa, bro. Think about it. Pretty soon you'll be able to enable. I have, like right now, Claude ChatGPT a few months ago dropped memory where it can remember all your conversations. But very soon AI will have a function where let it hear everything. There's going to be a function where you let the AI hear everything, where it operates in the background so it hears everything you've gone through the whole day. Then you're going to talk to it about your day. You know what I'm saying? That's coming, where all you do is talk to the AI. Now, a lot of people aren't thinking about this because they don't put two and two together. But right now there's AI when you, for example, you go on Zoom. Now on Zoom or Teams or Meets, you can now have the AI listen to the whole meeting, then give you the summary. What happens when you set the AI to basically listen to your whole life? You know what I'm saying? What happens when the AI is set to listen to your whole life? Think about it. Why would you talk to other people? Who can know what you've gone through more than AI? Think about it. You're at work and you set the AI in the background to listen and hear everything. Everything that's going on, your job, every situation. And then you talk to the AI about your job, what's going on, your situations in life. There will be no one you could trust more than your AI, because even your best friend doesn't want to hear every damn thing you're talking about and what you've gone through. Your friend don't want to hear that, yo, you were in the toilet and you had something, you started feeling sad because you were in the toilet. You know what I'm saying? The AI will listen to that. The AI will listen to everything. What's gonna happen is your number one companion will be AI. That's coming, man. That's coming, where your number one companion is AI. It's not going to be people anymore. The whole 2010 to now was set up to deteriorate and destroy the interaction between people in the public eye. You can't talk to people like that no more. You know what I'm saying? Back in the 2007 on Facebook, man, you could joke about people's sexuality. You could attack, you could verbally assault and joke all day. You can't do that no more. You know what I'm saying? Greetings from across the pond. Oh, my brother, what's good, man? From the UK, what's good, bro? You know what I'm saying? I hope you listening to this with some tea, man. My brother, was good, man. Was good, dude. I had to take that shot at you, man. You know what I'm saying? I just see you with the pinky out, man. With the pinky out, drinking that tea. You know what I'm saying? You know that, my brother from the UK was good. But yeah. But what's happening is, man, men will. Gen Alpha is gonna be the first generation where AI is your first friend. AI is your first companion. You know what I'm saying? AI is the only person you talk to. Because, dude, think about the 2010s, man. I was on X, which Elon needs to turn it back to Twitter, man. That whole X name it's run its course, man. But I was on Twitter, man, and I was beefing with some people, joking around, and I'm like, I'm holding back. I can't really joke at you, man. I can't really be funny or joke around, because I might get in trouble for being a sexist, a misogynist, insensitive and all that BS. If I was to go 100%, no holding back, if I was to go back to 90s mode, early 2000s mode, you know what I'm saying? I would be offering a joke I would be using would be, hey man, I will reimburse you for buying a rope at Home Depot. You know what I'm saying? That would be the joke I'd be using. You know what I'm saying? And you want to know the funny part about this joke of me saying I'll reimburse you for buying a rope at Home Depot? How am I gonna reimburse you if you use the rope? How am I gonna reimburse you if you use that rope at Home Depot? It's a double joke, man. It's a joke I couldn't use on X. I couldn't use that on somebody. You know what I'm saying? If I said, yo, man, you go to your nearest Home Depot and I'll reimburse you after you buy that rope and use it. You know what I'm saying? If I was to tell a guy, I will reimburse you after you buy that rope and use it. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't take that, man. They'd delete my whole account. You know what I'm saying? That's too dangerous of a joke, But, yeah, bro, we're heading to a time where your companion will be AI. Why do you think all these AI companies are racing to have it remember everything, solve everything? They know the number one companion for people will be AI. You know what I'm saying? Because the 2010s was all about stripping social interactness, the ability to socially interact. Why do you think in the 2000s they started telling us that you're not PC, politically correct? You know what I'm saying? You're not politically correct. Oh yeah, bro. Yo, man, Cerberus, bro, it's coming. You know what I mean? You're gonna see a time where this is why in the 2010s they spent all their time think about it. I was sent to Facebook jail. I've been in Facebook jail once for over 4 days, 10 days. Think about it. Facebook put me in jail for having an opinion. You know what I'm saying? For talking. At some point, I just stopped using Facebook. I don't really use it like that. I'm on there once in a while to look or talk to some people I know, but I'm not on Facebook trying to make new friends or trying to talk to people, reach out. Even during my birthday, people say happy birthday to me. It's not that I'm thankful. It's not Facebook. Yeah, it's not that I'm not thankful. You say, happy birthday to me. It's just that, man, I can't talk to you on Facebook, man. You know what I'm saying? I can't talk to you about, even if it's not about politics, it's about entertainment or joking around. You can't talk on Facebook no more, man. You can't even talk on YouTube anymore, man. I was once in YouTube jail. I was a convict of YouTube, where whatever I posted on YouTube, they would delete it in 19 seconds or less. I learned how long it took for YouTube to delete a comment. There was once YouTube wouldn't let me say nothing. People would post on my videos, I'd reply to it, gone, deleted. You know what I'm saying? YouTube would even hide posts from people, even if they said nothing wrong. We can't talk anymore, man. We can't talk on social media. Social media is not about socializing. Social media is really about culprit allowed culture. That's all it is. Social media is a job. You know what I'm saying? It's a job. It's a job to be on YouTube, man. I told guys this years ago, and people thought I was crazy. When I said there's no such thing as a man not working anymore. We are in the age of everywhere is work. Everywhere you go is a job. You know what I'm saying? The only difference between YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and social media between your real job is it's more casual. That's it. You're now in a constant casual work affair. Everywhere you go, you can't say this, you can't do that. You can't say this, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Silence is compliance, and they demand it through the thought police. Yeah, thought police, yeah. I mean, what they've done now is you can't socialize, that's why even on Discord, the homies know, the guys that are on the Hold the Truth Hostage Discord, the philosophy Discord, no, I had to block over 1,000 words. I had to block 1,000 words because I know Discord, which even Discord once sent me a message saying I'm a dangerous man, I'm a threat, I'm a problem, I'm dangerous. That's what Discord sent me. And they shut down my original Discord. So even on Discord, I gotta police it. I gotta control it. You know what I'm saying? Because we're not allowed to talk anymore, man. We're not allowed to socialize with each other. You know what I'm saying? Think about it, man. And I didn't learn about edgy humor until years later. You're not even allowed to be edgy anymore. You're not allowed to be blunt. You know what I'm saying? Need to buy the Hold the Truth dictionary to fit in the Discord. Yeah. Hey, Kalala, man, you already you added some words to that dictionary that's coming out. Or that, well, we just got bad words, man. I can't add the dictionary because some words you just can't use, because at the end of the day, we know Discord is owned by them, man. They own Discord. The leftists, this and that, the companies. What's allowed now is we're in a standpoint where it's called culprit culture. Culprit. Let me fix my words. It's culprit. I think it's culprit. No, corporate controlled culture. Triple C. You could add that to your dictionary. Triple C. It's corporate controlled culture. We're only allowed to talk to each other from a corporate standpoint. You know what I'm saying? If the homie Cerberus told me a joke about, hey man, if the homie Cerberus told me a joke about my future kids, he'd be out of here. They'd delete him. If the homie Kalala told me, hey man, your first wife, just check her mouth every night. I might have been there. You know what I'm saying? They might delete that. You can't be blunt anymore. You can't be edgy. You can't exist like that anymore. So what's gonna happen is they've been prepping us for AI. Very soon, it's gonna be strange to talk to people. It's gonna be, man, why are you talking to me, man? I only talk to ChatGPT, man. You're not an AI. Don't talk to me if you're not AI. Don't talk to me if you're not AI, man. That's what's gonna happen. And what's going to happen is they're pushing the narrative that men are going to be the most affected. Not really. This is why full-time ghosting is happening. Men will actually, this won't affect us at all. What's going to happen is, think about it. A woman, I'm going to give you a narrative right now. Think about this. A woman is 35 years old, has 3 kids. No men are trying to marry her or wife her up. Who else can she talk to besides AI? Who else can keep telling her every day, you're perfect the way you are? You're great. You're wonderful. You know what I'm saying? AI. Dude, AI is going to psychologically, it's already happening where women are making content saying that they talk to ChatGPT about their dream husband, dream man, dream family. AI. You know what I'm saying? The most supportive person in their life will be AI. For us men, it's not going to be as bad. For us men, it's not going to be as bad because men just keep living and do what they got to do. Like, it's kind of like you hear the narrative, women saying, if you don't make 6 figures, you don't make money, you don't do this, you don't do that, you don't qualify. And a lot of women are basically saying this as though, oh, the men are dead to us. The men are dead to us if they don't make 6 figures and above. But the thing about them saying that is it doesn't affect men at all. We men been living our lives, you know what I'm saying, making less than 6 figures. What does it change that you're being loud about it? It doesn't change nothing. You know what I'm saying? There's a man out there, his dream was to open a bakery. He's making less than 6 figures. He owns a bakery. There's a man out there that owns a place, a little bodega where he sells sandwiches. He's making less than 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? Men don't stop living, man. Men continue to live, Men continue to pursue their goals. But the women right now are in a position where, things are so unnatural that you're going to see women by the age of 40, 40, 25. I think what's going to really happen is the men will now accept, and I said this years ago, for men, it's going to be women will be expired to a man by the time she's 26. If a woman reaches 26 years old and she's single and alone, the man will consider her too damaged. You know what I'm saying? Too damaged to start a family, or be in a relationship with. You know what I'm saying? Men are at the point now that they're not gonna tolerate anything. You know what I'm saying? Like I was telling guys at the beginning or middle of this stream, men are on what I call NADA, never available daily access. You know, you're never available daily access once you start full-time ghosting it. No one can tell you what to do. No one can tell you what to accept. Your standards are the only thing you stand on. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen. Your standards are the only thing you stand on. And with what's happening with AI, since men can't put themselves out there anymore, you can't be on X or Twitter unless we're talking about video games. We men have hobbies. We're going to be all right. We got hobbies, man. What hobbies do the women have? They've stripped women of being able to sew. They've stripped women of being able to make clothes. They've stripped them of gardening. They've stripped them of any activities, man. Let me see what the homie servers said. I no longer accept the terms and conditions of modern relationships with modern women. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what's happening, bro. It's like, I look at the modern woman like Miss Pac-Man. All she does is eat, man. It's consume, consume, consume. You know what I mean? And what's happening now is that the men are completely removing themselves beyond work. Like I told guys, all you're gonna do now is work. You're gonna go to your job, work, and you're gonna go, you'll go to the homie Cerberus in the UK, you'll go to the pub, you'll go to the bar. We men been going to the bars alone. You're gonna go watch your movies if you go to the theater alone. They act like we men never did anything alone. You know what I'm saying? It's that's what we used to do anyway. It used to be only men allowed at the bars or going outside and this and that. So it's perfectly natural for us to be alone anyway. I remember I once told a dude, man, I went out to the theaters to go watch a movie. And the dude told me, man, you went there by yourself? Yeah, well, like, how else am I supposed to go? I wanted to watch the movie. You know what I'm saying? It's about what I want to do. Oh, man, you went by yourself to a restaurant? Yeah, I wanted to eat. Wanted to get something to eat, so I went to a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? What's the problem with that? Well, you ain't go with nobody. You know what I'm saying? Men are arriving to the point of, in this content first culture, and everything's content, and you don't want to be content, you ain't gonna contact or talk to nobody, man. You know what I'm saying? Sure, Domi Cerberus said, you're right, I do everything alone and I do it by my choice. Yeah. The man will stand on his standards and only his choice matters, man. I tell people, it's NADA, never available daily access. No one can tell a man what to do anymore. Men will no longer volunteer to sacrifice their times. As men live with the narrative that volunteers can't be victims. Like I was saying a couple minutes earlier, is that Mr. Beast literally held a contest of how long can you stay in a burning building? How long this is how comical and how much they laugh at men now, is that Mr. Beast, who had a friend that he was advertising his friend's private parts to minors, he gets a whole deal. Think about it. Mr. Beast gets a whole food deal. He gets a contract. YouTube is pumping him up for views and all that BS. We all know it's the, the closet field, the industry field. We all know this is all artificial anyway. You know what I'm saying? You're telling me Mr. Beast, he's not a comedian. There's nothing interesting about him. He's nothing more than a fabricated, controlled puppet they create, But what's happened is Mr. Beast, as I've been saying, he fetishizes the poor. That's what Mr. Beast does. Let me show you, wealthy people, what the poor will do for some money. Mr. Beast hosted an event, a challenge where a man stays in a burning building for money. Mr. Beast was making fun of firefighters who risked their lives to save people in a fire. Mr. Beast was making fun of the men who lost their lives in 9/11. The men who lost their lives running in that burning building to save lives. This is funny for Mr. Beast to host a contest. Instead of Mr. Beast, this is how you know Mr. Beast is a controlled puppet. Instead of Mr. Beast saying, you know what, I'm going to go around the country and help some firefighters. I'm going to supply some equipment. Nope, I'm going to host a contest where a man has to stay in a burning building for $500,000. Because this is entertainment. The poor are nothing more than entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Mr. Beast is a fetish. It's a fetish for the wealthy. Because who the hell wants to see how long a lot of people will stay in a circle for a damn car? Who the hell wants to see how long people will stay in a room for $100,000? No one. This isn't entertainment. Wealthy person, and you want to see how entertaining the poor are. Oh my God, Stanley, come watch the show. We're going to see how long 100 poor people will stay in a room for $500,000. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, look at those poor people just stay in that room until they win $500,000. Oh my God, it's riveting. It's just, let me pass the caviar. Come on, get the good caviar and the good wine, and let's watch these poor people stay in a circle for $500,000. You know what I'm saying? Oh, some pounds. Oh yeah. Let me wait here for some pounds. 100 pounds, 100 dinars, 100,000 pesos. They're going to stay in a circle for $100,000. What the hell is entertaining about that? You know, there's nothing entertaining about some people staying in a damn circle for $500,000. But if it's for the wealthy, you know what I'm saying? It's a fetish of the wealthy to see the poor. I can't wait till Mr. B says we're going to have some poor people stay on their knees while somebody puts their foot on their back, and whoever can stay on their knees the longest will win $500,000. Oh no, that's not enough. We're gonna put poor people on a ledge and see who can hold on to the ledge the longest for $500,000. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Cerberus, my dear fellow. Thank you very much for the compliment, chap, bloke, broth. Thank you for that. A toast to the tea for you, mate. Hey, man, I grew up watching too much television, man. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, bro, I can't wait for Mr. Beast to make the show where we're going to have 500 poor people in a den full of bears, and whoever survives wins $500,000. I can't wait for Mr. Beast to have, 100 poor people will just hold on to a rich man, and whoever can hold on to the rich man and follow him all day will win $500,000. Come on, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? That's what's coming, bro. It's entertainment. Mr. Beast is fetish for the wealthy. That's the content. Because there's no way normal people are watching this. I didn't know about Mr. Beast until, 2-3 years ago? You know what I'm saying? Where somebody told me, yo, hold the truth hostage, man. I was on TikTok and I saw Mr. Beast, this dumbass song, and it was going viral and all that crap. And I look at his channel, it's just like PewDiePie. You're telling me PewDiePie has 100 million followers, a guy from Sweden, when Sweden has never been interesting ever. There has never been a decade, I'm nearing 40, I can't remember a decade in my life where the most entertaining person was from Sweden. Never. And you're telling me PewDiePie has 100 or 80 million subs? Get the hell out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? Ninja's channel has 23 million subs. Come on, bro. They are publicly creating their puppets, man. You know what I'm saying? YouTube can, I know a lot of people still don't remember this. I always like to bring this up, that YouTube once made a mistake and YouTube gave somebody 1 billion views in less than a minute. And YouTube said, I'm sorry. Come on, bro. They control this whole website. They decide who gets views. I remember people that would stream to me. I remember my first subscriber ever telling me, shout out to the homie C.1, who told me, yo, hold the truth, man. They're unsubscribing me to your channel. And every few days they were unsubscribing people. And I was like, bro, I understand. I understand if you leave the channel. At some point, you're going to get tired of resubscribing. And then they shadow ban the channel, whatever. You're going to get tired, bro. I don't blame you. You got other things to do, man. So that's what's coming, man. The thing is, man, Mr. Beast closet activity with his friend Chris, who had an operation to become a man-former, become a Decepticon. It is I, Optimus Prime. I invite you to fight me in this war. Help me against the Decepticons of Mr. Beast and Hollywood. Hollywood is transforming all of mankind. For it is I, Optimus Prime. Come on, man. It's becoming literally Transformers out here, man. You know what I'm saying? We got Decepticons out there, Mr. Beast supporting the Decepticons. You know what I'm saying? We had Andrew Tate telling you to date a Decepticon. Andrew Tate, well, what do you mean you wouldn't sleep with the Transformer that's a 9? Come on, bro. The closet is all over, man. Closet wood. Yeah, Cerberus, man. It's not Hollywood, it's closet wood, man. You know what I'm saying? All these celebrities, you know what I'm saying? It's like right now we need somebody to run as president as Optimus Prime, Vote for me, Optimus Prime. If you vote for me, I guarantee that I will not allow Decepticons. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's become now, man. We got Mr. Beast. And notice, they all follow the same steps. Mr. Beast, my question for Mr. Beast is, man, I wonder what they did in Africa, man. I wonder what Mr. Beast and Chris did in Africa, man. If Mr. Beast was telling people on Discord about the size of his friends' private parts to minors, I wonder what they did in Africa. You know what I'm saying? We're built. Hey, I'm Mr. Beast. I'm going to be building villages in Africa. Oh, hey, Chris. Chris, what are you doing with those kids? Oh, you're going to bring them into that village we're building by themselves? Okay, go on, Chris. Oh, Chris is such a good person. He's helping the kids alone in their huts. Oh, Chris, why do you have 5, 10? Let Mr. Beast count. You have not 1, not 2, not 3. Oh, my brother was good, man. Man, I had to chop it up with one of my homies, man. But yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? Think about it, Mr. Beast. I wonder what happened in Africa with Mr. Beast, man. Mr. Beast and Chris, I wonder how many kids in Africa were having to sit down with Chris alone. You know what I'm saying? I wonder how many kids had to sit with Chris alone in Africa. You know what I mean? I'm Mr. Beast. Hey, Chris. Chris, why are you taking all those kids alone in this hut? Chris, what are you doing? Oh, Chris, you're just talking to the kids alone in the hut? Okay, Chris, that's good. Chris, you are helping the kids. I'm Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast's best friend, Chris, always talks to the kids alone. And what I love about Africa and these poor villages is that Chris can always take the kids alone. You know what I mean? I wonder what Mr. Beast and Chris did to them kids, man, in Africa. You know what I mean? I wonder, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yo, Cerberus used to be Adam and Eve. Now it's Adam and Steve. Oh, no, man. It used to be, you mean, it's still Adam and Eve, but now Eve is a man playing Eve. You know what I'm saying? Still the same, you know. That's what's going on. But, yeah, bro, man. I'm telling you, by the year, when this happens, man, when the year, you know, once we hit 2027, man, it's about to get real, you know, because 2026 to, I think, especially 2026, because 2026, we're going to start seeing the effect of, I'd say, Gen Alpha and the Zoomers. The Zoomers are entering their 30s, you know. And if you look at the manosphere, a lot of men were active in the manosphere around their 30s. You know, that's when I got involved in the manosphere in my early 30s. You know what I'm saying? Early 30s, mid 20s. So what you're going to see right now is it's now the Zoomers era. You know, the Zoomers are the up and coming 30-year-old content creators, you know. And unlike us, the Zoomers, you know, the Zoomers, they're now gonna start pushing the narrative on the Zoomers, the male loneliness epidemic and all that, but it's not gonna work on the Zoomers, man. The Zoomers understand that, you know, that loneliness is really a scam. The female loneliness epidemic is insane, you know. You gotta understand that they said less than 60% of men are having children, man. Oh, man, my brother, man, be easy, bro. Cerberus, be safe, bro. You know what I'm saying? Get a drink of that tea, my man. You know what I mean? But, yeah, you're gonna see, bro, by 2026, they're gonna see it's the Zoomers' turn, you know? Because for us millennials, you know, older guys, millennials, Gen Xers, you know what I'm saying, in the manosphere, you know, or older, you know what I'm saying, our time, it's not that our time is past, but the media has moved on, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Or the 40-year-old speed dating, yeah. The media has moved on from us millennials, you know what I'm saying? The media is now chasing the Zoomers. The media is now saying the Zoomers are the problem. The Zoomer men don't want to have kids. You're the problem now. But the Zoomers already know what's happened. You know, the Zoomers now know it's their turn. The 2010s was all about attacking millennial men and Gen Xers. You know what I'm saying? We were the main target. You know, now the main target of the media's aggression is going to be the Zoomers. You know what I'm saying? Because the Zoomers are the guys turning 30 in a couple years, or in their 30s, just hitting their 30s. So the Zoomers are now the target. You know what I'm saying? We Gen Xers are becoming the 40-year-old so-called older men. You know what I'm saying? The older men, they don't really see us going to clubs and bars. They don't consider what we do anymore. You know what I'm saying? The millennial men entering their 40s, we're gonna be a second thought. Yeah, you know, we're gonna be the afterthought. You know what I'm saying? Entering our 40s, we are no longer the demographic they're aiming at. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be aiming at the Zoomers now. But unlike us, the Zoomers now have weapons we never had. The Zoomers have AI now. Like, you know, the homie Kalala showed me where he searched AI. I did that on a stream where I searched AI, and the AI told me the math. It told me exactly what's going on demographically. So they're gonna come after the Zoomer men now. They're gonna say, oh, Zoomers age 25 to 30 refuse to date. They're cowards. They're scared. But the Zoomers now know the law. The Zoomers saw what the millennials and Gen Xers went through. The red pill is normal now. The red pill is normal. It's mainstream. It's normal. Everything a red pillar could tell you, the Zoomers know now. Okay, you get married, this is what's at stake. The black pill is now normal. The Zoomers now know, well, she won't date you. It's not that she doesn't like men, you just don't match the looks that she wanted. I was in when I was in the black pill 5.0, when I was making a lot of black pill content, I was the one who fixed the black pill perspective. One big issue the black pill had was the black pill would tell guys it was money, it was looks, money, status. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one who ended up fixing it, saying that's wrong. It's actually looks, status, money. It has to be based on what women can interact with. What's the most accessible to the women. The most accessible thing to women is looks, status, money. Looks. She can interact with a man that looks attractive. That's the easiest thing a woman could interact with. Status. She could interact with a man that's her manager at her job, a manager, a supervisor, and so on. Status. Then money. That's the last thing a woman can interact with is money. Because money actually decides whether she can interact with them or not. You know what I'm saying? Money makes decisions. You know what I'm saying? Money. I've been at as a security, working security, I had to, I had to work an event where I worked for U2 and Bono. It was an event where they bought out the whole bar. They bought out the whole bar in Harlem, and they decided who came in. Jared Leto was there, Lupita. Men with money decide how women interact with them. The more money a man has, the less control a woman has. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that in the manosphere, that big lie. Oh, the women can access anything they want. No, they can access poor men. Looks, status. Yeah, a woman can access a manager at Wendy's, a manager at Dunkin' Donuts, a manager at a bank, and so on. They can access these men. But men with money, you know what I'm saying? How can they access these men when it's invite only? You know what I'm saying? I've been at events where I worked with a man invite only. Rich people like Bono. Wealthy. Bono is worth over $200 million. Bono decides whether you can see him or not. So how can women by choice interact with a wealthy man? They can't. Unless they're invited, they can't, man. I've interacted with some dudes that had some bread, man. Had some, we're talking millions of dollars. We're talking guys that basically, for them, making 10 grand a month ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? I chopped it up with him, talked to him, told me some business. He told me some stuff about life and business and all that, But the women, they would have to be invited. You know what I'm saying? Women, the rich man and wealthy man are invite only. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you might see a guy, a lot of guys in the manosphere, when they talk about women accessing rich men, they're talking about bars and clubs where a couple guys buy VIP. And bro, you could buy VIP. I've worked as a bouncer. Sometimes VIP is just literally like, what is it, $200? If 5-10 guys put in $50 each, they could buy VIP. How hard is it to access a man in VIP when they come together? I've been at I was a bouncer, bro. I've been at VIP where I was at VIP getting a lap dance. You know what I'm saying? Getting a lap dance, had a chick twerking on me, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And a couple guys bought out VIP, man. It's not hard for women to access looks, status. Money requires work. You know what I'm saying? Money actually requires work. for the women to access that. You know, in the manosphere, there's a big lie. All the women are all choosing who the money. No, the money chooses them, man. Them flights to Dubai, the Dubai guy has people he contacts to send him the type of women he wants. He invites them. You think every woman could just, oh, I'm going to Dubai. I'm just gonna contact the Dubai rich Dubai Emirate wealthy guy to come use her, use her, you know what I'm saying, use her face as a porta potty. You know what I mean? That ain't happening. They don't choose, man. The wealthy man chooses. The rich man makes a choice. You know, the women can access looks, status anytime. Anytime she could access looks and status. Money, accessing money requires work. You know what I'm saying? Why you think a lot of these chicks on Instagram are literally advertising their bodies? You know what I'm saying? They're telling the wealthy guys they're on sale. You know what I'm saying? They're on sale, bro. You know, if it was a guy with looks and status, she could just contact and call him or bump into him. You know what I'm saying? That's not that hard. But the money, she's got to work for that money. She's got to advertise herself. She's got to put herself out there, market herself. You know what I'm saying? Most of these chicks on Instagram and OF and all that stuff, they got to advertise themselves. But to get back to things, because I got to end the stream quick. I've been on here for a minute. But to get back to things is this, bro. We're gonna have 2026, maybe even late 2025. There's still time. You're gonna see, and especially if I was the AI industry, the AI industry is gonna love this. You're gonna see a situation where they're gonna start advertising kids and adults. There are people that are suffering from I don't have the word yet. You know, I'm a good guy when it comes to coming up with words, but I don't have it right now. But there's gonna be a massive news report on people that only interact with AI. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see, I guess it's gonna be EAIO, you know what I'm saying? Interacting AI only, or AI only interaction. It might be AIO, you know what I'm saying? AI, something. I don't have the terminology yet, but you're gonna see a situation happen where the news stations will say there are a group of people that only, and the homie Kalala, A-Cell, you know what I'm saying? A-Cell, oh, that's big. AI cell. Oh man. That's real. That's real right there. AI cell. That's real right there, man. That's coming. There's gonna be guys that only interact with AI. And it's not gonna be the men as much. It's gonna be the women. Remember, who's buying? Check this out, man. Who's buying the dildos? It's mostly the women. The women are the ones that. There's women, and of course we know the closet. You know what I'm saying? Who's buying the sex toys? Dude, the average guy isn't buying a sex toy. You know what I'm saying? As much as guys in the manosphere are talking about, oh, men are gonna buy AI and sex dolls and all that, dude, that's a lie, man. That's a goddamn lie, bro. Too many men have watched movies where you saw those blow up dolls. Man, those are usually some weirdos, man. The average man ain't buying no goddamn doll. The average man ain't gonna be buying dolls, but the closeted men, the men in the closet will be buying dolls, and the women will be investing in a lot of AI. You're gonna see, especially your chat GPTs and all that. I think the women will be the ones that talk, because dude, even a guy with a girlfriend isn't texting her back and forth. Yeah, baby, what you doing? Texting back and forth like he's a girl, man. Like he's gonna talk to her about a lot of stuff. The guys don't got a lot to talk about. You know what I'm saying? When you think about a woman, if you're with a woman, like what are we, besides what we gonna be doing, what we eating together, are you gonna be at home? We gonna chill and sit down? What do we have to talk about? You know what I'm saying? Most men don't got nothing to talk about with their girl besides I'm gonna see you at home. I'll be home at this time. Do you need anything from the store? You want me to pick up something? You know what I mean? We gonna be at home together today. That's it. What else are we gonna talk about? I'm gonna tell her my deepest, darkest secrets. When I was 5 years old, when I was 13, dude, that's bullshit, man. Most men, as much as all these guys, these system guiders online, all these men online are putting out this BS. Or men will share their most intimate secrets with a woman. If they don't share that, they're sad and lonely. I just can't wait to have a woman to tell my deepest and darkest secrets. Come on, man. Get that bullshit out of here, man. They're so desperate to feminize men, bro. We got nothing to tell a woman. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And it ain't a problem. We men move on, man. You know what I'm saying? If I lost a football game in high school, or if my coach yelled at me or whatever, I moved on. You know what I'm saying? Nothing I say or do will change that. They've been trying to feminize men for so long and have you identify with all this BS. Like, men will actually, what do you have to tell the woman you're with? You know, I'm gonna tell her my deepest and darkest secrets. I'm so sad and emotional. You know what I mean? What's that Chinese? Emotional damage. Yo, dude, I mean, I've been streaming for years, bro. What man have you heard live stream say, guys, listen up, I have a real dark secret I want to tell you guys. I'm so sad, and guys, I'm very lonely. I want to tell you this deep and dark secret that's been bothering me my whole life. Ain't no man got time for that, bro. They're so desperate. I watch all these lesser men. I don't call them lesser pillars anymore. Lesser men, bro. There are lesser men on there. You know, your Andrew Tate's lesser man, your Jordan Lee Peterson, lesser man. There's a lot of men online, manosphere, lesser men telling you, well, men want to tell a woman their deepest, darkest secrets. You know what I'm saying? Come on, bro. Even your best friend, you're not telling them that much, man. You know, there's certain things we men know we don't got to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Some things we got to live with. You know what I'm saying? We don't got to tell nobody nothing. You know what I mean? We never have to. We never will. And there's nothing wrong with us. Well, don't you feel that you're balling this up and you're keeping this and it's hurting you? It's hurting your feelings, emotional intelligence. Oh, man, nobody give a damn about that, man. You know what I mean? But like I said, by 2026, man, you're going to see a major issue, man. The issue's gonna be, and I think the AI companies might invest in it. If I'm ChatGPT, if I'm these AI companies, we're gonna put the word out that there's a lot of people that need rehabilitation, to be sent to rehabilitation centers, to go to rehab for talking with AI. This would help the AI companies, because as soon as the word gets out that people are going to rehab for talking to AI and spending too much time on their AI, this basically confirms for the AI companies that AI is here to stay. You know what I'm saying? AI is now a natural part of people's lives. So you're most likely going to see some type of news report pop up that there are people spending too much time with AI. You know what I'm saying? And for ChatGPT and all these companies, they're going to love it. This is going to confirm that AI is here to stay, and it's not going away. Because once people got to go to rehab for using AI, oh, it's here to stay. It's a part of their life. It's now part of normal life. Just like you could be drinking too much, you could be talking to AI too much. You know what I'm saying? It's now a normal thing, you know? So a lot of companies will invest in that, and it's only a matter of time before you hear it on the news that people are going to rehab for talking to ChatGPT too long, you know? Or people, and it's already happened where they're saying people are talking to AI as their therapist. You know what I'm saying? Or AI to heal them from a divorce and all that. You're gonna see that, you know, the rise of the AI cell. You know what I'm saying? As the homie Kalala said, you're gonna see guys that It's not involuntarily, they can't talk to people, but they distrust people so much they can't talk to people no more, man. You're gonna see a rise of that, you know. And by 2026, like I said, man, full-time ghosting is gonna go mainstream. It's happening, you know. I think it's gonna be potentially the Zoomers and Gen Alpha. Once Gen Alpha, in my opinion, starts hitting 18. That's another thing too, is that I think all these laws that were being passed where they want you to put your IDs on the computer, and all that BS. Oh, you gotta put your ID identification online, is to stop the Gen Alpha. It's to stop what happens when Gen Alpha at age 14, give me a sec, at age 14 and 15 start saying that they can't talk to people, man. They don't trust people, you know? What happens when for Gen Alpha, I think a lot of the IDs and all this stuff being pushed is to basically limit the impact Gen Alpha will have. Just imagine if a 14-year-old boy, 16-year-old boy online now is making content and advertising that they are no longer participating in dating or none of that. They're just now living their lives. They talk to their AI. They're planning things. They have nothing to do with society's expectations of them to get married, try to have a girlfriend, and all that stuff. That doesn't matter to them no more. I think a lot of the reasons they're pushing all this ID stuff is they want to suppress the impact that Gen Alpha's gonna have on the social algorithm. You know what I'm saying? Because Gen Alpha's the first generation to grow up with no family sitcoms. No family sitcoms, no family activity as entertainment. It's Gen Alpha, you know? So I think the impact Gen Alpha's gonna have, and potentially, especially the Zoomers, because like I said this years ago, that the Zoomers, the older brothers that are Zoomers now, they're teaching their Gen Alpha brothers. Now imagine if a Zoomer who's never been in a date, never been in a relationship, is telling his younger brother who's Gen Alpha that, yeah, bro, when you go to school, don't do it. Don't risk it. You know what I'm saying? We don't need you to be on the TV. We don't need you to be on the internet, man. Just play with your friends, play baseball, never talk to a girl, never do this, never do that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of Gen Alpha little brothers are growing up with a whole different perspective on life than us millennials. Us millennials were raised with, what you mean you don't get no women? Don't get no bitches, man. The Gen Alpha are being raised with, yo, man, stay away from these bitches, man. Stay away from them. You know what I'm saying? Mom and dad don't need to go to the school because you tapped somebody on the shoulder and this and that. Gen Alpha is being raised by a Zoomer brother, an older Zoomer brother that's telling them to not interact with their female classmates. You know what I'm saying? Think about that, bro. Even us millennials, the younger millennials may be different, but the older millennials, we were always telling our younger siblings, yeah, man, you gotta get some women, get some chicks, you know what I'm saying? But Gen Alpha is being raised by an older Zoomer brother that's telling his youngest brother that's a Gen Alpha, hey, man, I don't want to be going to the school, man. I don't want you to be embarrassing us. I don't want you to have us on the news. I don't want you tapping a girl. I don't want you to give her that letter. Do you like me? None of that. We don't want you to be misogynist or sexist, or, we don't want you to be placing misogyny pressure. You're not gender fluid. We don't want you to do that. So Gen Alpha is being raised with a completely different, very separate and a very pro ghosting approach. Gen Alpha is being raised to just be in class, but be seen, not heard. You know what I'm saying? Be seen, do your homework, get out. You know what I'm saying? Gen Alpha is being raised like us millennials are right now, where you go to work, come home. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Go to work, come home. You might go to the bar, but you stick to yourself. People can see you, but they can't touch you. You know what I'm saying? That's what Gen Alpha is being raised by. Gen Alpha is being raised by a Zoomer. Their oldest brother is telling them, do not interact. You know what I'm saying? Think about that. Think about the side effects that will have. Then Gen Alpha is also being raised where there are no TV sitcoms. You know what I'm saying? There is nothing to watch that's promoting family or nothing. And they don't have to watch TV. Gen Alpha is being raised with here's YouTube, watch whatever you want. And most of the time, the Gen Alpha is watching a guy like me streaming alone. Streaming alone. You know what I'm saying? Some of them is weirdos, some of them is in the closet. You got Kai Cenat. Kai Cenat, streaming with men and another with I Show Speed in the shower. The closet field. Closet field, closet field. You know what I'm saying? But give me a minute. So that's what's happening. So Gen Alpha will be the first generation where, man, interaction between the opposite sex is absolutely frowned upon. You know what I'm saying? It will not be normal. It will be looked down upon that Gen Alpha in class goes to ask a girl to be their girlfriend or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna see that. And of course, we got Trump as president, but Trump's aggression is, he's done some things, but it's not legal enough. The law, yes, we see the law happening where I heard certain states are making it mandatory for DNA tests. DNA tests are becoming mandatory. But here's the thing about that is that should have been here, but men aren't trying to have children. If men are trying to have children or have relationships, what does it matter if DNA tests are mandatory when men aren't planning to have children anyway? You know what I'm saying? Men aren't interacting with the opposite sex anyway. So what does this DNA test thing mean? You know what I'm saying? What does it mean when men aren't trying to have children? You know what I'm saying? I've been telling guys this for over 10 years, the zero birth rate initiative. Men are on the path of zero birth rates. Men are believing that no children should be born in the West at all. The West does not deserve my children. The West does not deserve my seed. You know what I'm saying? So this whole narrative of mandatory DNA test, it's not going to change nothing. It's just like Elon Musk said and President Trump, they're out of touch. You know what I'm saying? They're billionaires. Elon is worth over $400 billion. You know what I'm saying? Elon Musk offered $5,000. Oh, man, all a man needs is $5,000 and he'll have children. Right? He's a poor man. For poor people, $5,000 is like $1 million. But men aren't even going to have children if you offer them $5,000. You offer a man $5,000, he's not going to have children. You know what I'm saying? Men are not having children, even if you offer them money. In my honest opinion, I don't think, yes, some men will bite, but I think if you offer a man right now in the West $100,000 to have a child, I'd say potentially 8 out of 10 men won't do it. I think 8 out of 10 men won't do it if you offer them $100,000 to have a child. They won't do it. And I predicted this. I used to tell guys, guys were like, oh, you heard, hold the truth hostage. South Korea is paying men to have children. And I told them that's coming to America. You know what I'm saying? And it's happened, Oh, no, not Kalila, not with a stranger. Yeah, potentially with a stranger. I don't know. You know, it's gonna be funny when the government creates, wife. There's gonna be something called a wife center. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee very soon there's gonna be a center that trains women to be wives, and men can come here and find themselves a wife. There's gonna literally be training that women have to qualify and take a test to prove their wife material. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a center for wives. Are you a man looking to get married? Welcome to the Center for Wives, where you could find a woman that has been trained and qualifies to be a wife. Welcome to the Center for Wives. I am John Bet You. My name is John Bet You, and I can bet you that you could find a wife at Center for Wives. Yo, Center for Wives. That's right. The women have been trained to cook, clean, you know, at an expert level to care for their man. Welcome to Center for Wives. You know what I'm saying? Where we've trained them, we've prepared them for the greatest journey of all. Center for Wives. At Center for Wives, we can guarantee you men that you don't even need to know her. There's no need to date. There's no need to court. She has been trained and prepared to be a wife. Center for Wives. You know what I'm saying? All you have to do as a man is come here. You must provide information on your earnings, your job history, your school history, your crime history, and you can come to Center for Wives, where we have trained women since. Let me make that commercial. Since we've been training women to be wives since 2010. Center for Wives. Welcome, men. You're tired of the dates. You're tired of the introductions. Welcome to Center for Wives. Oh, what did you say, Kalila? Give us 50% of your wealth as a pre-deposit. Oh, yo, that's gonna happen. There's gonna be a deposit. At Center for Wives, you make a deposit, you prove that you're serious, and we will set you up with a wife. At Center for Wives. We have women that have been retrained that are single mothers. We have women that are in their 30s. We have women that are in their 40s that have been retrained to be wives at Center for Wives. You're a man. You're tired of the dating. You're tired of the getting to know you. You're tired of all this. Just admit it, men. You want a wife. So we've prepared Center for Wives. Oh, the volunteer center. You damn right. You're damn right it's a volunteer center. You know what I'm saying? That's how bad it's going to be, man. Because Gen Alpha is going to be a whole new beast, man. And the Zoomer Brotherhood, man, the Zoomer brothers out there, it sounds like I made some fun of y'all at the beginning, but it's the truth. There are some Zoomers out there walking like flamingos. You know what I'm saying? So feminized, they're flamingos out there. But the Zoomers, man, the side effect the Zoomers are going to have on the Gen Alpha. And you know what I'm saying? Another thing is, there's going to be a lot of closets in the Gen Alpha. That's another reason some men will, Gen Alpha ain't going to be dating. There's going to be a lot of pre-closeted Gen Alphas, You know what I'm saying? But what's going to happen is, man, 2026, like I said, with Trump, unless Trump goes to the extreme, that we need new amendments. All these laws with mandatory DNA testing, it doesn't matter because they could change that law anytime. If it's not in the Constitution or amendments, it doesn't matter. Same thing as states are. Well, this is Jeff Johns of CNBC News. CNBC, your number one most trusted news station. They are now making it mandatory that 50-50 parenting is the law. And men still aren't getting married. Men are still not having children. What's going on? Why aren't men having children when we now have mandatory DNA testing? We have now it's 50-50 guaranteed, what they call that thing when a father and mother are trying to split it. It's 50-50. I forget the word right now. But yeah, Men are learning. I learned something big, man. And the government hasn't realized that men are learning one of the most dangerous realizations ever, that once you learn that the law doesn't have expiration date, it's over. Once you accept, think about this, dude. Your driver's license has an expiration date. You know, your driver's license has an expiration date, but not the law. Once men realize the law has no expiration date and it could be changed at any time, you know what I'm saying? Because Trump is doing those, what they call that, presidential orders. You know what I'm saying? So that means the next president, if the next president isn't Trump or isn't a Trump worshiping president, you know what I'm saying, that looks at Trump like Teddy Roosevelt, looks at Trump like Ronald Reagan, you know what I'm saying, looks at Trump as a president that's more like a sentient being, like a god. You know what I'm saying? Let's say, what's his name, the VP that's running. I forget his name, the vice president for President Trump. Sam, what the hell? Vance. Yeah, Vance. If Vance doesn't act now, because I've seen Vance is messing up, man. Trump is nearly 80 years old. Vance should be fighting and passing mad laws right now. He should be fighting and passing mad laws for fatherhood and so on. But he's not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Vance is streaming. He's appearing on Rumbles. You know what I'm saying? Vance. Oh, look at this guy. Oh, man. I saw my brothers, man. But, yeah, you got Vance out there, bro. He's not doing nothing, man. He's not legally acting or nothing like that. So if Vance doesn't take some heavy action, it's over, man. You know what I'm saying? The fact that laws aren't being passed, new amendments to protect fatherhood and so on, it's over. But, man, this has been a live stream. Let me see. How do you end a live stream on YouTube? Yeah, but, man, thank you all for being a part of the live stream. This is the first one I've done exclusively with the YouTube live stream. So, we'll see what it is. But, like I said, man, 2026, man, 2025, if Trump and Vance don't get aggressive, because like I said, man, before I shut down the stream, is that I don't think 50 grand, 100 grand, men would not take it. If you offered a man a $50,000 right now, 100 grand to start, to have a family with a woman, I think probably 7 out of 10 men will say no. 7 out of 10 men will say no. Because those men will know that if they take that 50 to 100 grand, it increases their annual income, which raises their child support. You know what I'm saying? The government ain't gonna give you no 50 grand, 100 grand for both the man and the woman and say, you know what, if she takes child support, that is not to be added. Men are now looking at money the government offers them to start a family as a down payment towards child support and towards alimony. You know what I'm saying? That's what men are looking at it as. So what's happening is that men would not even take money to start a family, and the government doesn't understand. The government doesn't care. Now, Trump changed the law for you to import a wife, if you have a wife from overseas over here, Trump made a law that she can't take anything from you, and she can be deported, whatever. It's more like a loyalty law. It makes sense, but at the same time, that law could be dropped at any time. You know what I'm saying? That law could be dropped at any time. So, the men aren't 100% believing in that. So what's happening is, bro, the government couldn't even pay a man to have kids. I told guys this. They in the government, how you could tell Trump and Elon Musk don't care. They offered $5 grand. They didn't even offer 10, 20,000. They said, yup, give them $5 grand, give them poor people 5,000 and they'll have children. That's what they're designed for. They're poor animals anyway. Give them $5,000 to have kids. And the men said no. You know what I'm saying? The men ain't having no damn kids. So what's happened is, think about it. It took me, as a millennial, to arrive to that point. I got no kids, but it took me to my 30s, to my late 20s and 30s. I've always believed in protective sex and all that. I'm not gonna have a kid for no damn reason, but it took me to get to my 30s to say, nah, I can't. I could never have a kid. Never. You know what I'm saying? It's too dangerous in the West. And if I have a kid, that's basically a sign that I've given up my life anyway. Volunteers can't be victims. So if you were to ever hear me say, yo, I had a kid, bro, hey guys, man, I'm having a kid, then you already know, man, my time is up. You know what I'm saying? My time is done. It's over for me. It is what it is. I chose to finish my life. So my life is no longer my life. That's how you gotta look at it. So what's happening is that's me. I'm a millennial. But the Zoomers have arrived to where I've arrived at in their mid to late 20s. So if the Zoomers arrived, remember the manosphere was blown up in the 2010s, especially mid 2010. So around maybe 2015, 16 was when it was blowing up. So a lot of Zoomers got influenced around their, late teens to late 20s, mid 20s or whatever. That's why you think about it. Some guys, their action hero is Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate drinks and smokes. He does karate. That's my action hero. Some guys, that's their action hero. You know what I'm saying? Andrew Tate. And think about all the elements that have happened. In the 2010s, they've emasculated all actors. Look what they did to Henry Cavill. Henry Cavill built like an action star. You know what I'm saying? Everyone agrees, supports him. They don't give him no jobs. You know what I'm saying? They attack him and damage him. You know what I'm saying? Everybody growing up in around 2010s, I do a simple test. You can't name 10 superstar actors that got established in the 2010s. You can't. Okay, Henry Cavill, Michael B. Jordan, that's about it. Henry Cavill, Michael B. Jordan, and you can't even really name female actresses. Maybe, that's it. That's it, man. That's it, man. Oh, Jasker, what's good, man? What's good, brother? Been a minute. Been a while, Jasker. Oh, man. Jasker, man, what's the name is still free, man, with his powdered nose, The man with the powdered donut is still available, But, yeah, man, so, I gotta end it. But like I'm saying, man, the Zoomers, that generation. Oh, you doing good? Oh, yeah, dude, I'm good, bro. I stayed out of the Eric situation because, man, it started getting old, man. It started getting old, and, people aren't, the Eric July situation, people just aren't seeing the bigger picture, They're not seeing the bigger picture that, the entertainment industry in America's been on a downhill spiral anyway, There's a lot of people, to get on a side note, there's a lot of people that tell me, oh, AI is gonna destroy jobs for artists and actors, but when the hell were they hiring? Riteka, Riteka, man, Riteka, that I think Riteka Law is, he's got too many industry connections, man. You know what I'm saying? I think if your kids are found with coke on their hair and you're not in jail, you got some connections, man, in the industry. You know what I'm saying? Big connections. That's why I think he didn't go to jail. Is that dude? His connections. You gotta look at his sub count and all that stuff and say how was his sub count that big, man? There's a lot of people on YouTube that have artificial subcounts, artificial popularity, where it's not real. You know what I'm saying? How can a guy have 400,000 subs on YouTube, 1 million subs on YouTube, and they walk in America and nobody knows them? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of YouTubers that are YouTube famous. Shout out to the homie Superfly. I was watching one of his streams. Thing Superfly, and he was destroying it. But like I said, man, the Zoomers and Gen Alpha, we're heading to, if Trump doesn't speed up, it's October right now. If Trump does not change the amendment, right now the government is closed. I think the closed government is closed. But if Trump doesn't fight for the amendment, if being a father is not protected by the amendment in the Constitution, it's over, man. It is over. I know they're taking away the EBT cards. There's a lot of women out there that's gonna be starving, but that don't matter. You know what I'm saying? You take the EBT cards away from a woman that did OnlyFans and a woman that was working the streets, that doesn't mean anything. So now you got to accept her. She wants to care for you and love you. You know what I'm saying? Give me a minute. An OnlyFans model. Come on, man. It's over, bro. It is over right now, man. If Trump does not take the law into the amendments, if fatherhood isn't protected by the amendment, the Constitution, it's over. It's over, man. In America, the birth rate now is what, 1.2 or whatever. I'm telling you, men are going to take it to zero. You know what I'm saying? Men's goals right now in America is to get the birth rate to zero. Until it's 0 point something, it don't matter. 1.6 isn't good. 1.2 isn't good. 1.0 isn't good. Until we hear that number zero, until we hear the birth rate is 0.7, 0.9, 0.4, 0.5, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. The men are now on a destination towards the zero birth rate. Anything less than zero, anything higher than zero is failure. That's what's happening to the Zoomers and especially Gen Alpha. When Gen Alpha reaches 18, man, oh man, it's gonna be a whole new world. A whole new world. That Disney song, a whole new world. I see a Gen Alpha with no kids. I see a Zoomer with no child. A whole new world. You know what I'm saying? That's what's coming, bro. It's gonna be a whole new world, man. When Gen Alpha reaches 18, and the damage that Zoomers are about to do, man, the Zoomers they're gonna be wild, man. When it's their turn now. The Zoomers are the ones becoming 30. It's their turn, and the manosphere and how men are going to cultivate the internet under the Zoomers, it's gonna be wild with the power of AI. Oh man, think about it. An AI fueled man. It's gonna be wild, man. It's gonna be wild. You know what I'm saying? And the government thinks, you know what? Oh man, we're running out of employees. Think about it. Think about Elon Musk. You're preparing all these electrical cars. You're making all these Teslas, and the birth rate is dropping. Who's gonna buy these cars in America? You know what I'm saying? The birth rate is dropping, man. It's gonna be wild, man. But this has been Hold the Truth Hostage, where the truth is so important. We wouldn't negotiate with lies. We would hold the truth hostage. Full-time ghosting isn't an option. It's the only choice. Full-time ghost. And we're living in a time of no secrets, no lies. It's all visible. You see everything. Anyone telling you their secrets, they're lying. All right, man. Peace out, people.